Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's TheKidEG, and I'm back again with another video. And today we're going to be talking about that question that everyone keeps saying. Everyone keeps saying this statement. They just keep saying, I hear it everywhere on social media. They say Emery's team, Emery did better with a far worse team than Arteta. Emery achieved 5th and got to Europa League final with far worse players. Arteta should be doing better with these players. Arteta's 10th, for God's sakes. Emery would never. People are saying Emery's 100% clear. Arteta, you know what? These things are all legitimate points, but we're here to debunk one statement. I think this whole statement about Emery did better with a far worse team and far worse players than Arteta is a myth, and I'm ready to debunk it. I got a couple people here with me. We got a balanced squad today, so you guys don't have to worry. It's not just one voice, not just one way. And we got Brandon here from BrandonAFC TV, and we got Ads, my guy Ads down in the bottom. You guys already know who Ads is. He's been on here before, and you know Harry. So I'm just going to open the floor to you guys. The question is, did Emery have a better team? Did Emery have a far worse team than Arteta's team? Because we know he achieved more than Arteta, but is his team that much worse? Before we go dive into it, what do you guys think on the grand scheme, just to touch the surface of the topic before we get started? I'll start with you, Harry.
I feel like we spoke about this previously before. I feel like Emery had a better selection of experienced players who had achieved or won things with Arsenal in Koscielny and Monreal and Ramsey and Cech, and even players like Welbeck, players who had played in the Premier League for a long time, who'd been there, done that, and knew exactly what the Premier League is about. I think Arteta still has a good mix of that, but essentially has a lot of younger players who are almost trying to learn a new style of football and get to grips with the Premier League. So I think to say Emery did better than Arteta with a far worse squad is just, it's really far stretched, because if that's true, I think Emery would still be in charge now. So I think to bang the Arteta out drum and use that as a reason, for me, just isn't fair and it isn't justified. That's what I'd say.
Okay, and then I'm going to go to you, Ads. Same question. Did Emery have a far worse team? We know he accomplished more than Arteta in the short time that he was here, but was his team that far worse? And is Arteta's team that far superior to that team that we had back then?
I would say Arteta's team is not far superior to Emery's team, but Arteta's team is a better team, a better squad than Emery's squad. And cool, yes, we had experienced players, but most of those experienced players were in their last legs that played for Emery and that didn't come and didn't play under Arteta. As I said earlier, the only player that I feel would have actually been a benefit to this squad is Aaron Ramsey. Everybody else that solely played for Unai Emery we've replaced them, and I don't feel Mkhitaryan as well could have done a job in this team, but then obviously Arteta got rid of him, or Arteta didn't want him in this squad. But as I said, other than that, no, I think Emery's team was worse than the current squad that we have now.
Okay, and then so just to get you caught up, Kesh, we just did the introductions. Harry said his piece, Ad said his piece. Now it's Brendan's turn, and then I'm going to throw it to you last. So Brendan, same question. When this discussion is brought up on social media, which side do you usually tend to stand on? Do you think Emery's team is worse, or do you think Arteta's team is worse, or do you think they're both the same? It could be either one of those three.
I would say it's quite balanced to a degree. I think when you deep Emery's squad, we probably had better attacking players. But when you look at Arteta's squad, you probably say that we arguably have better defensive players. I get what Harry's saying as well about the fact that Emery had more experienced players to call upon, squad players in a sense as well. But as regards to individual quality and individual players, I feel Arteta maybe just slightly has the better squad in terms of that. But I don't know. It's very close between the two. Very close.
Okay, and then Kesh, same question. When it comes down to it, which side of the bill do you stand on? Do you think that this statement that's usually said that Emery did far better than Arteta with a far worse squad? Where do you stand on the bill when it comes down to this question?
You know where I stand. I think Emery had a much better team compared to what Arteta had, and reason being is if you look at the leaders and the experience of how many players that he had that played Champions League football, we seem to not take that into factor. These guys had a lot of experience playing at the very, very top compared to what we got now.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you guys some of these players that Emery had, some of the players that Arteta had, some of these guys that only one side of the bill had, right? So I'm just gonna go through. First, I'm just gonna sort it, and we're gonna go through the players that own. Do you guys want to start from Emery's team? The players that only Emery had under his realm, because the players that Emery had, that Kesh talks about leaders. I hear where you're coming from, Kesh. Some of these players are Aaron Ramsey, Iwobi, Carl Jenkinson, Danny Welbeck. What's his name? Ospina. Obviously, we know Denis Suarez only featured for 6 matches for Arsenal. You have Henrik Mkhitaryan. You have actually Mavropanos featured 7 games under Emery's reign. You have Koscielny. You have Matt Macey, who featured 2 games under Emery. You have Nacho Monreal, Petr Cech, and Lichtsteiner. And you know what? I looked at Lichtsteiner. Guess what? He actually featured 23 games. Shocking. Anyways,
Really?
yeah, I'm gonna bring it up on the board so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at. And where do you
that explains why we fluffed 4th place then, didn't it? If he played
where do you
28
guys want to begin? Because do you want to first just see the list? Let me bring up this list so you guys can actually see it for yourselves, and you can see some of the appearances and everything. So this is the list of players that Emery had under his reign that Arteta never actually seen play for a team that he had on. 1 second, let me get this up. Why is it? Where did it go? Okay, yeah, I'm having a mare, guys. Sorry, it's not coming up. What's going on?
Does he get you out for you?
What?
What are you trying to do? Bring up Emery's squad?
No, I have it. It's just I need to share my screen. 1 second. Let me just share my screen. I'm just gonna share my screen, and you guys will see it in a second. You guys can see that, right?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you can see here, we have Aaron Ramsey, Iwobi, Carl Jenkinson, Danny Welbeck, Ospina, Denis Suarez, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Mavropanos, Koscielny, Matt Macey, Nacho Monreal, Petr Cech, and Lichtsteiner. I want to begin from one thing. Kesh, you said leaders. I can see leaders in this squad. I can see Petr Cech. I can see Nacho Monreal, Koscielny. I see a seasoned pro in Danny Welbeck, and I see a guy who would improve our team tenfold if he was in this team today, fit and ready to go, Aaron Ramsey. When you also look at other guys like Iwobi, he would offer us more than Willian. He would offer us more than Reece Nelson. He would offer us more than some of these guys that are in the squad. And I would even take it to a level and say, you know what? Would he offer us more than Pepe when it comes to his technical skill and his ability to create? Because Pepe can maybe finish better than him, but at the same time, they both have a similar situation where they both stumble and fall over the ball at times. And Iwobi, one thing he was doing at the back end of his career with Emery, he was getting goals, adding goals to his game. I'm gonna throw this over to Brandon, because I know Brandon thinks a little bit different, just to keep it balanced. Brandon.
Yeah, I said it before we went live. Right now I would take Iwobi over Pepe, because I just don't feel like Pepe is producing enough. He's a very hit and miss player. Iwobi, Emery got such a tune out of Iwobi that we managed to grab £40 million for him for some odd reason. And I look at that and I feel like, is that down to Iwobi's ability, or is that down to Emery's management skills and how he got the best out of that player? Whereas right now, I don't feel like we're getting the best of Pepe, but that's also down to Pepe, but also down to Arteta as well, you know? So right now, based off what Iwobi did in that season, I would take him over what Pepe is doing right now. But in terms of ability, it's got Nicholas Pepe over Alex Iwobi.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what you say about Iwobi is I'm certainly not going to use like Iwobi as a factor to say that Emery had a far better squad than Arteta. I don't think. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think we all know Iwobi had limitations, but in terms of like just overall possession play, Iwobi was frustrating because sometimes he'd get one-on-one with the defender and just almost look a little bit nervous and not know what to do with it. But in terms of his general like ball responsibility and being able to play a little bit deeper. He was a left midfielder, left winger, but he could easily play centre mid in a way because he could just carry the ball and keep it ticking over. You've probably got more of a all-rounder, whereas Pepe is literally, totally hit and miss. And I'd actually think that what Emil Smith-Rowe does now on the left wing for us is almost play as a left midfielder, kind of left-sided number 10. I think Iwobi would actually probably do quite well in that position under Arteta because he would just contribute as another possession-based attacking player. But I think to use Iwobi as an example as why Emery had a stronger squad is definitely a stretch. But I do agree with Brandon and you in saying that he's probably more of an asset to a squad than someone in Pepe who is just so hit and miss at the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna go to ads now before I go to Kesh. Ads.
I'm just so shocked. Iwobi got to a limit and he got to a position where he just didn't improve, even under Emery. And I think Brandon said it, when he's 1v1, Iwobi actually never took on defenders, never said, okay, cool, I'm going to square you up and run at you. Iwobi didn't do that. And I don't know whether he just lacked confidence or something like that. I just didn't understand. Now, when it comes to Pepe came in, cool, had these bits and bobs, but then when I look at Pepe, second half of the season under Arteta, and he got into a full run of games and he stayed in the squad, he produced goals, he produced assists. And for me, that is where I was thinking, okay, obviously 72 million, he's getting there. He's slowly starting to deliver the performances that we all want to see a 72 million player do. But obviously coming into this season, dropped from the team, coming in second half of the games, playing in the Europa League, all that good run of form that he had, leading that all the way to the FA Cup final, was all gone. And then it's him trying to work his way back into the team. And again, started this season, he's had a few good games in the Europa League, but then again, I don't classify those Europa League games as great and wonderful, solely because of the opponents that we were playing. But then again, when he came on against Sheffield United, I think it was, and he scored a goal second half. I think it was Sheffield United.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
At the Emirates. Again, it was like, okay, yeah, let me get back into the team. And then again now, for me, it's just give Pepe is a confidence player. Get him in, let him have those run of games, let him get comfortable. And again, Wolves match, Southampton away when we won, you could see Pepe again slowly getting into the groove of things. So then that's my thing with Pepe. And again, I think the ceiling for Pepe is much higher than Iwobi. Look, Iwobi, yes, he's played games in the Premier League. He's used to the Premier League. He knows what the Premier League is about. Cool, Pepe's had his full season in the Premier League. But then would I say that Iwobi would be better placed in this squad over Pepe? No, I wouldn't. And to be fair, again, if I look at the list, even if it's just if I look at the list, none of those players would benefit us now. In all honesty, yes, a few have leadership qualities in there.
Ramsey would benefit us now.
Yeah.
Danny I'd rather bring off Danny Welbeck to get me a goal than I would Eddie Nketiah.
Harry, let him finish his point.
Sorry, I remember the only person I said potentially I would keep was Aaron Ramsey in the squad. That's the only player that I would say would keep him. But then, sorry, where was I? What was I? Yeah, sorry, leadership qualities. One of the key things everybody, commentators, fans, pundits, our lack of spine. And these are the players that played for us under Emery, some under Arsene Wenger, with a lack of spine, no leadership skills. So I can't now just say, oh yeah, these guys are going to bring leadership skills, when for so many years it's been characterized that we have a lack of leadership skills in there. So like that's the thing with me. Like in this list, nothing is like, oh my gosh. As I said, Ramsey, yes, I'll take Ramsey back in the squad now. Mkhitaryan could have stayed in the squad, but Arteta said no, I didn't want him in the squad. So it's like, what?
He's not offering him. He wasn't offering him much though. For the money that he's on, he wasn't offering much. So it made sense.
I hold on. I totally agree. He wasn't offering much, but for me, how I think again, was it? I think Harry was talking about it will be in that inside attacking midfield forward position. Mkhitaryan would be great in that position. And again, now this season where he's tried Willock in the number 10, he's trying Willian in the number 10. Mkhitaryan could have been around to fill in that number 10, especially if you're not going to play Ozil.
So aren't you agreeing with me then that Emery did have some players?
No, I can't say that, because Arteta said, Mkhitaryan, I don't want you. It wasn't like Mkhitaryan was gone before Arteta. Arteta said, Mkhitaryan, I don't want you.
One
second, guys. Before we finish, I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this, and then we'll move on.
Oh yeah,
Kesh,
that's it.
Yeah.
Kesh, where do you stand on this?
For me, the comparison between Pepe and Iwobi, it's the same for me. They're both on the same level. They both don't play games to a convincing level to be playing for Arsenal, trying to get back to the top 4. Okay. They're both very inconsistent. Whether you play them 4 games in a row or 1, very inconsistent. Some of the things that you see Pepe done, like even after he never played in the Leeds game, he came on against Benfica. Whether it's only 10 minutes or not, the runs he was making and things like that, always wanting the ball to feet, I just don't see him cutting that out his game. When I say leaders, yes, we lacked a spine, but the spine is the overall team. But if you're talking about experience and know-how, they still had some of that to get them to that much higher up the table. Yes, Emery done well, but Emery didn't play in a season where you had a Villa playing consistently, where you had an Everton playing consistently. He failed in a season where it was only the top 4 that performed, and still managed to finish outside the top 4. So what would he have replicated this season differently? I still think he would have struggled. If you're saying that, I'm not saying Arteta's got a better team than Emery, because he doesn't. He does, barring the party. That's the only difference for me. Because as good as Gabriel is still a inexperienced centre back. He's only played over 100 games since he's been at Arsenal. He had 1 or 2 solid seasons at Lille. That was it. If you're going to bring in players like that, you still need to put a leader next to him. Koscielny was a very experienced player, played Champions League football. Cech, very experienced player, played Champions League football. Monreal, very experienced player, played Champions League football. So that little bit of experience that they've got is able to push you that bit further. Obviously, it wasn't enough to get us to the top 4. That's why we failed in the end.
And also, it wasn't enough in the Europa League final as well.
Yeah, and it wasn't enough, exactly.
Okay. So before we go on to the next piece, so what we've taken away from this is that you guys feel like some of these players, even if they were here, Arteta wouldn't want him. On the other side of the bill, you're saying that some of these players could offer us something with their leadership, their experience, and the fact that we're depending on so many kids and so many players that are underperforming. And is it a little bit of the nostalgia that we're just looking at these players saying maybe they'll perform, because some of these guys have also not performed? Like I'm on the end that says, you know what, I think the 2 teams are similar, and you know what, it's kind of hard to distinguish which one is actually better at this point. Now let's move on to the next part. As you guys can see on the Venn diagram that I did, the actual list of players that Arteta has brought in that Emery didn't actually play with are Cedric, Gabriel, right? You got Martin Odegaard, Matt Ryan, Pablo Marie, Runnerson, Thomas Partey, and Willian. That's it. Everybody else in the Arsenal squad, Unai Emery has managed. Now, I get why you say, based on having Thomas Partey and having, Gabriel, that we've improved. But are you actually putting a lot of weight on Martin Odegaard? Are you really putting a lot of weight on Pablo Marie? Are you really putting a lot of weight on Runnerson, Willian, Cedric? Are you saying these guys are that much better than the players that we lost? Just looking at this Venn diagram, I think Petr Cech, Koscielny offered us more leadership than any of those goalkeepers, or even Gabriel. Koscielny offered us more leadership than Gabriel. Easy, you could say that because vocally, Koscielny was more vocal than Gabriel. Gabriel's still new here. As a defender, Gabriel could be a better defender. He could have more of a future. But in my opinion, when you just look at these two images, you can see Henrik Mkhitaryan. I don't think any of those attackers really would contribute as much as Henrik Mkhitaryan. Maybe Martin Odegaard, right? Then you see the midfield. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey, Thomas Partey are the two whales in this photo. Aaron Ramsey and Thomas Partey are two completely different players. Then you go a little bit deeper. Nacho Monreal, he would still be one of our better defenders in this team, even though he's a left back who's kind of past it. He would still be one of the better defenders. And that's where I just want to lay the groundwork. I'm gonna throw this over to Ads now. Ads, what were you saying? I'm gonna bring up the sheet.
Oh my god, Gabriel was 20 times the player Laurent was.
Gabriel.
So
Oh my god.
Wait, what did someone say?
Gabriel is 20 times the player Laurent Koscielny was.
No.
I thought one of you guys said that. I was about to close my laptop.
I was gonna say, no. Look again now. Laurent Koscielny got to a stage where we're not talking about the Laurent Koscielny of Arsene Wenger days. Let's get it correct. It's not the Laurent Koscielny of Arsene Wenger days. This is Laurent Koscielny under Unai Emery. And the kid, I don't know what Laurent Koscielny you're watching, but Laurent Koscielny did not speak on the pitch. I'm telling you that now.
No, he didn't speak on the pitch.
He didn't speak on the pitch.
But not every leader speaks.
No. 100%. 100%. I totally agree. Not every leader speaks, but Laurent Koscielny did not speak on that pitch. Gabriel was much vocal, but and again now, looking at where Koscielny was in his career at that time, and bringing in Gabriel again now, that is a good, if not better, substitution for me. But again, now you can't just pick and say, "Oh, Henrik Mkhitaryan would be good." Arteta had the chance to play Mkhitaryan. He had the chance to have him in the squad, and chose not to. So I can't. His name should get scratched off of that list. He didn't want him. He had the choice to. He said, "No, you know what? I'd rather use your wages for someone else, for Willian." So I don't think we can actually say that now as well. Now, Petr Cech went. I don't know how many matches Martinez played under Unai Emery.
He was out on loan, did he? He went out on loan.
See, that's what again now. So that's the thing. So even though we lost Cech, in our eyes, I saw we still had a good number two because again, obviously Leno came in as the number one under Unai Emery and Cech played
as well first season.
And Ospina as well first season. Like again now, Martinez for me.
Can I just stop you 1 second? Sorry, guys. I just figured out how to do the screen share properly. That's why I couldn't get to the comments. My apologies, guys. You can continue, Ads. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. Martinez under Arteta has shown me that yes, he was an adequate number two, or could even be a number one. And obviously, this season is showing that he's definitely a number one goalkeeper. That would replace your checks. That would replace your Ospinas, your Matt Macy's that was on your list. So again, now I'm still baffled how those fringe players, and they were fringe players, coming to the end of their careers, and we cannot say anything about those guys. Monreal, as much as Monreal would be good, but Tierney was always going to replace him. I
agree with you. Tierney's got a higher ceiling, but Monreal was consistently a 7 for us. Don't forget that. Monreal consistently put in performance.
You know, one of the most players that underrated players in the Premier League was Nacho Monreal. I honestly, him and Santi Cazorla, I love those two, because I think Santi Cazorla had a little bit more plaudits, but Monreal, that guy, when he had to play left centre back, when we went to a free at left back, the guy did a job and he did it comfortably, and I loved Nacho Monreal. But again, now let's look at the progression of the teams. He was always going to move on, and Monreal at that age against who Arteta would have had, you're not going to say, oh yeah, Monreal, cool. He actually spoke on the pitch, so having him around, yes, that would be okay. But that's it.
I think you're comparing.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
I think you're comparing the wrong players. We're at the moment we're sat here comparing Koscielny to Gabriel. I think what you need to do is compare Koscielny to Luiz. You know, because they're both technically leaders or captains or whatever you want to call. They both have Champions League football under their belt as an experience as well. And then you sort of compare Gabriel to probably Holding, because Rob Holding's Koscielny's centre-back partner up until he got injured in that season as well. And I would say Gabriel was a better player than Rob Holding. As regards to David Luiz against Koscielny, it's debatable because both of them have mistakes in their games. Both of them have the experience, have the Champions League experience as well. But both of them are reaching the end of their career as well. So I don't know. It's very debatable on that one.
The only thing I would say about Koscielny, yes, Koscielny has mistakes in them, but it was never those tomfoolery ones. Those tomfoolery.
Do you want to see the list again?
Where he's pulling back shoulders and that. It wasn't nothing like that. That's what I'll say about that.
But then again, similar on Brandon's point, you have to look at squads. You can't just look at signings, because this is just showing me signings. You have to look at squads.
Yeah, you have to look at squads.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. What this is showing you guys is, I'm just trying to break it down specifically, granularly. Go look under the surface. These are the two list of players that never got to play under Arteta and never got to play under Emery. And my question to you is, looking at those list of players, who is missing more valuable pieces? Who is missing more pieces to the puzzle that is a better team?
I think it's better to compare the signings that was made on Emery and the signings that was made on Arteta.
Okay, we can do that in a second. A lot of
the debate that I've seen recently is that what is it? It's lost me now. Is that Arteta has been backed because Saka's got a new contract, Martinelli's got a new contract, and I look at that and I think that how can you?
No, I don't agree with that.
I was gonna get to that, Kesh. You're jumping the gun. I'm gonna get there.
Can I just say one thing?
Let Harry go, and then we'll get there next, okay? And you'll go first.
I think what a few of us are complaining about, or arguing about, is the fact that when people make the statement, Emery had a far worse squad than Arteta, to almost push their Arteta isn't good enough narrative. That's the problem I've got, because then that becomes a stretch, and that's why I mentioned players like Nacho Monreal and Koscielny. If Nacho Monreal stayed under Emery, he'd still be playing right now for Arteta. He'd be our second choice left back coming in, or second choice left centre back when we play a back five. Regardless of his age, sometimes good players are just good. Of course, when they get older, some players get bad, but for someone like Nacho Monreal, the way he played left back, it was never about pace. It was just about reading the game. He was reliable on the ball. So he'll play in Spain to his 34, 35, 36. And if Spain gets some injuries in the left back area, he'll probably get a few Spanish caps, as he did last year. So they're the sort of players that are extremely valuable to Arteta. And I go back. If we're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go, I'd bring on Welbeck over Nketiah all day. If Koscielny maintained fitness, I'd rather have Koscielny as my fourth or fifth choice centre back. So we were right in terms of vocal leadership. They're lacking, but experience over games of playing 200, 300 Premier League games can't be disregarded. And sometimes the way we talk down on players like Monreal and Koscielny, or players like people go, oh well, Emery got to UEFA Cup final with Koscielny and Monreal. I'm like, These guys are seasoned international players.
But you see how you said that? You see how fans change the narrative and say, bring in an experienced coach who's been there, done it, and know how. It's the same for players. They've been there, they've done it, they know how to see out games. A lot of the players that we got now don't know how to see out games in the Premier League.
Just quickly,
I like how Brandon puts the finger up.
I'm struggling to find this image. I'm gonna find it.
Where's Brandon? You're a little bit.
Quickly before we move on, I just want.
Yeah, go ahead.
As regards to comparing signings and that, you can't really compare and say that Emery's signings was possibly better than Arteta's, because if that was the case, Arteta wouldn't have dashed all of them out first. Arteta has got rid of every single Emery signing, barring Leno. And I mean, I know Guendouzi is out on loan, Torreira's out on loan, but he's deemed them players not good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and to be fair, I like Arteta. I think some of those are questionable, but and I don't know if that's like I said to you earlier, an ego thing of him saying, right, these aren't my players, let's move them on. I hope it's not, because I don't think that's the right way to manage. I think we could do with a Torreira, but I don't know what that situation is. He might have just been terribly homesick and he had to leave. Maybe Emery playing him in a different position, didn't help him.
He said that though. He said that he wanted to leave because of that.
Kesh, I got the image that you wanted to see. So let me just put this up. So the image that that I'm going to show now is, this is the stick that people beat Arteta with. They say these are the signings that Arteta has made while he's been at the club. They say Arteta has given Aubameyang a new contract. He has signed Thomas Partey. He has signed Saka to a new contract.
One second.
Ridiculous. 1 second. Let me go through it fully.
Yeah,
they say we signed Willian. He said giving Martinelli a new contract is a Arteta signing. David Luiz is now an Arteta signing, even though he was signed under Unai Emery. They're saying the fact that he was given a new contract he's an Arteta signing. Gabriel, obviously. Xhaka not staying, begging Saka. It literally says begging to stay. That is considered an Arteta signing because he stayed and he didn't leave in the window when we couldn't actually replace him. Runnerson signing. Mari signing.
Rakik shouldn't even be in there.
This is just ridiculous. I don't even worry about that. It's just, let's just go through it because this is their agendas. It adds more players. Blocking Bellerin's move, blocking Eddie Nketiah's move to West Ham. Then Ceballos extending a loan when we know we need midfielders. We got rid of 2 midfielders on loan. What are we supposed to do? Not bring a midfielder in? Then you got Cedric signing, Matt Ryan and Odegaard. Okay, I'm done.
I'm surprised he didn't write blocked in capital letters to make it seem more dramatic. Like, blocked move from PSG.
You would argue that's true.
Saying he didn't have to sign.
1 second. Brandon, you'll go second. Don't worry.
Saying he didn't have to sign Saka. Bro, we talk about, all right, cool. Let's rephrase this. Because a lot we say Arteta weren't backed. For me, it's not about backing Arteta. Back the club. The club needs investment. The club's going to be here when Arteta is dead. It's the club that needs an investment to move forward. Whether Arteta, listen, if the owners was back in the club and Arteta was doing shit and we had absolute quality all over the pitch, no one would care if Arteta's gone because the quality is there. They'll say bring in another manager. And that's the way Chelsea run their business. They know they're going to have that much quality that even if a manager comes in and does shit, they can move him on and bring someone else in. We're saying he didn't have to sign Saka. He didn't have to sign Martinelli. So we're meant to let our best assets leave on the free then. That's what you call back in the club because you don't want to let your best asset leave the club. Aubameyang. The only reason why the club signed Aubameyang, which I didn't want Aubameyang to stay, because I saw from last season that he's not going to be the same player. A technical, gifted player can adapt his game. A player that relies on his pace and his goal scoring ability becomes unstuck when their pace start going. They've decided to sign Aubameyang. Why? Because of the emotional side of the fans. They've done it to please us. And then when we're saying, oh, why should we give Saka a new contract? They want this. They want you to say you back the manager because you gave the player the contract. That should be the norm. That should be the norm. That's the least that we expect to keep our best asset.
Yeah, the only thing that I wouldn't agree on that list is the whole signing Saka to a new contract, Martinelli to a new contract, blah, 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 because you have to keep hold of your best assets, like what Kesh was just saying. But as regards to the Eddie Nketiah one, he did turn down £20 million. There's no denying that. We could have got the guy. So he's not necessarily a signing as such, but he's a player that Arteta chose to keep, just the same as David Luiz. Arteta gave him the new contract. It looks like he's going to give him a new contract again. He asked Granit Xhaka to stay at the club when we all knew that he was on his way out. He even admitted that himself.
So do you consider that a signing? Sorry.
That's not a signing, though.
No. Sorry. I cut off Brandon. Brandon, finish. When you're done, let us know.
Yeah, no, Danny Ceballos with an extended loan as well. It's just little things like that. These are players that Arteta has decided to keep at the club. Not so much like, again, with Granit Xhaka, it's not so much that he's signing, but he's a player that Arteta has chose to keep. Even though us as Arsenal fans know that he's not good enough, and we should have moved him. So you can kind of argue that list is true, but not so much like signings and contract extensions and stuff like that. It's obviously players that Arteta likes and wants to keep at the club.
But isn't there a reason for that though? There's a reason, because the money is not being put forward to allow ourselves to say, listen, you're not good enough, you can go. We're going to sign a player instead of Danny Ceballos rather than bringing him on loan. Arsenal is the only club. What other club in the Premier League you see doing loan signings? What other top club in the Premier League? Name me a top club in top 6 right now, apart from Tottenham, but I don't even class them as a top team.
No one does. Yeah, no one does.
Name me a club.
Look at Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid loan signings, bro.
Atletico Madrid loan Torreira, Dembele. Atletico Madrid, perfect example. They have 3 players in their team that are on loan.
In the Premier League, it doesn't happen. Yeah,
Chelsea
Egal, put that list back up. Put that list back up, please.
Chelsea has a loan out.
Egal,
talk about loaning in, not loaning out.
Yeah, loaning in.
Just scroll from top to bottom if you want, whatever's easier
for you.
We can't
compare ourselves to La Liga and clubs like that. Atletico Madrid, they haven't got the money that the Premier League's got. So I expect them to do those loan signings.
Guys, it's very hard to get to the comments, guys, and all the comments and do everything at once. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is save your questions at the end, but anything you guys want to discuss during the video, throw them in, and I'll try to get to them near the end of the video. Okay?
Those leaders are not the same. Xhaka hasn't played Champions League football with Arsenal since we've been here.
No, wait, hold on. But then this is the problem, yeah? This is my issue. We talk about Champions League football. We're not in Champions League football. So you can have Champions League football. I don't care about Champions League football. Because Champions League, what we play in the Champions League and what we play in England, 2 different things. Cool, now you got your players that are coming into the league, maybe not have experience of the league. But then again now, we are signing these players to come in and hit the ground running. And to perform. We're not signing party. We're not signing party to party. Come in. You might not do well in the first season. No. We're spending that money on party to. You know what you're going to come
immediate impact.
Immediate impact. Same with Gabriel. Same with Willian and his experience. We're signing. Okay, Willian, you've had experience with the Premier League. Bang, you know what you've done. You had a good season in terms of assists and goals last season. You need to continue on that season. So for me now, from Arteta's side, and I'm just looking at this list. I think this is totally stupid and idiotic. I'm really sorry about but yeah, it's just it doesn't make sense in terms of and me as an Arteta out guy. Like I wouldn't even beat him with that stick like that. It's just stupid. Again, now you're gonna get beg thing to sign a new contract. Saka, all them guys. And to be fair, no one knows what happens in the background. So David Luiz might have been key because we may not have secured Gabriel.
You know what it is? It's like adding 4 more charges to a guy who's already facing life.
What is something though? Do you not see the pattern? Each year we go for a year, we don't reach our expectations. On the Wenger, we signed Ozil and Sanchez. That was meant to push us on to win the title. Clearly, those 2 alone wasn't enough. The following year on the Wenger, on the Emery, we signed whoever we signed. That's meant to push us back into the top 4. Clearly, those signing alone wasn't enough. Each year that goes by, we get worse and the other teams improve. Now, you sign Partey, we're expected to get top 4. That's what fans say. But I don't believe. I think Partey is good enough to get us into Europa League again. That's
Okay,
why I
Harry-
feel we should be finished. We should be finishing the Europa League.
Harry's next. Let Harry go next.
Hold on, let me just finish. Obviously, it was a question directly.
Yeah, Harry's just been waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Ads. Let him go quick, and then you can respond right after.
Sorry, I had to respond. It makes sense.
The only thing I would say about Emery and that top four, for me, and Egal will know this, I hated Emery. I thought he was the wrong manager for Arsenal. But the reason we didn't get top four was not because of the squad or I think that we didn't get top four was solely because of how he managed both competitions of Europa League and the Premier League, especially at that critical point in the season. And the Crystal Palace game and Brighton, those matches killed him. And
look at those lineups for those games.
Yeah, the player selections, especially for the Crystal Palace when Jenkinson played, for what reason he yanked him off at half time. That I would say that was solely down to Emery's tactics on that day. But again, now we could achieve top four that year, and cool. I don't even know. But then again, this season we signed players. For me, I thought we have a squad to achieve top four, and me saying that solely because of one, no fans in stadiums. So again, that advantage of going away and being the home fans, and we've seen it because this is the season with the most away wins ever in Premier League history. So we know that has actually played a part in it, and two, again, even pressure from the home fans as well, Arsenal fans, obviously over the last few seasons with us booing players and having that negative atmosphere in the stadium as well. So that would have benefited us as well. So, and also as well, looking at the league, I think the league is worse than last season. I think teams are falling backwards, which is why you have your West Hams, your Leicesters up there, your Evertons up there. I think the league is worse than last season.
I said the same thing, but a lot of other fans are saying, like even fans in front of us, they're saying no, it's because everyone's recruiting a lot better. Everyone's got the money to recruit that way.
No. I don't agree with it, because even with Chelsea at the start of the season, they made a lot of changes. Teams that make a lot of changes to your squad do not in that first season.
Are you guys done with this list? Quick question.
I just want to say a couple of things on this list really quickly. When we extend the contracts of Luiz and Rob Holding, and he brings back Granit Xhaka, and he rejects potential moves. Firstly, we're in a pandemic, so selling a player might be easy, finding a replacement might be really, really hard. If we reject a price for Nketiah, it's because Arteta believes maybe we can get more when you see Ryan Brewster go for a lot of money. It's also about, will I need him? Will Lacazette suddenly want to kick up a fuss and leave? Will Aubameyang sign a contract or won't he sign a contract? So there's all these factors. And if you take Bellerin as a perfect example, so Ainsley Maitland-Niles was potentially going to move to Wolves. Bellerin was potentially going to go to PSG, and then you've got who's the other right back? And then you've got Cedric. So then you've got Cedric. So Cedric could hardly play, so you don't know about his fitness. So can you rely on him? Maitland-Niles wants to go because he doesn't want to play right back at Arsenal. So we have to understand that he does not want to play right back for Arsenal. So then it's cool. So we need to keep Maitland-Niles in and about the squad because he can play left wing back, he can potentially play centre mid, and then that's why we end up keeping Bellerin, because there's too many variables to say let's just go get rid of Bellerin. We bring Xhaka back because ultimately it's all we had. It's what we had, and whether you don't think he's good enough or he is good enough, in terms of what we've got, he's probably one of the best in terms of what we've got. It's not good enough to take us to that level, but it's what we've got. And then the signing extension of the contract extension of Rob Holding. Once again, it's what we have. So you protect your asset. Rob Holding has improved. His value has went up. Is Rob Holding good enough to take us to the very, very top? I think we all agree that he's not. But it doesn't mean you just get rid of him. It means that you keep him. You give him a pay rise because he's playing well. He's improved a lot. So then you keep him until the market goes back to normal and you can sell him. That's not a way to go, he's kept Holding, so of course we ain't going to get back to where we are because he's extended his contract. He's got to protect his squad. You can't just get rid of everyone. Like, What would you prefer? We get rid of Holding, we'd have Mustafi, we'd have Socrates. I know who I'd prefer. So it's about getting that balance of using players to support an argument. You can't support that for contract extensions in the pandemic. It's just part of working with football at the moment. Like, you have to adjust and make what you have available.
Okay, let's continue. Would you guys like me to look up the next thing? Would you like me to look up the signings in order, chronological order, or would you like me to find the actual players that have played for both managers? Which one would you prefer?
I think it's important to discuss the players that have played for both, so we can actually talk about their age and when they played for us. Because I know Lacazette and Aubameyang under Emery were a lot more useful.
I already have it ready.
Yeah.
So these are the players, the list of players that have played for both. I will zoom in because clearly you guys cannot see on that small screen. Now, before we get started, I'm going to name some of these players. So the first player we have, let me zoom in first. The first player we have is Emi Martinez. Second one is Carl Jenkinson. Third one is Hector Bellerin, Matt Macy, Mesut Ozil, Danny Welbeck, Iwobi. Why do I have Petr Cech in here? I'm sorry about that, guys.
What, Jenkinson played on Arteta?
No. Yeah, I think you've got all the players in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mistake here somewhere. 1 second.
Why are you switching? And also, just one more quick point. You know how we say, oh, well, Emery got to a Europa League final with, Lichtstein and Jenkins and all these players. But you can say, Arteta got to an FA Cup final with Mustafi and Socrates, but they hardly played. We know that. So they're not contributing factors. So there's always these examples and parallels you can make.
The Eddie Nketiah thing, I didn't ever see that link actually verified that we had a 20 mil offer in the winter window. And personally, from me knowing his agent, I don't believe that offer came in, or his agent will be telling him to go, because his agent's about money. And if Eddie's in his last year, he'd rather see what offer is going to be there in the summer. So to say that it's Arteta that said, no, I want to keep you, when it's going to be a joint decision between him and Edu. We don't know if they said he's staying or we don't want to leave him. We don't want him to go.
Yeah, like Wenger said, selling players, it's a three-way thing. It's the agent, it's the player, it's the buying or selling club. Like, there's so many factors. Just to say, like, if you don't want this player, you should have sold him, or what's he still doing here? It's like, it's so hard to sign and sell players. It's one of the hardest things to negotiate in football, especially during a pandemic. So free transfers or loan signings like Danny Ceballos and Willian, whilst Willian certainly hasn't worked out, they make sense on paper. Getting Danny Ceballos, who knows the club, on essentially, a really, really cheap deal, it makes more sense than spending 15, 20 million on a central midfielder who we don't know about or who Arteta doesn't know. So that's why he does that.
Okay, so guys, the nightmare is over. See, what I did was I messed up because I tried to sort it by date, but I didn't highlight the whole thing and I messed it up. Anyways, Excel.
That's Excel.
So starting from the beginning, I have at the top Ainsley Maitland-Niles. You guys can see it clearly. It's better, right? Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Lacazette, Leno, Saka, Chambers, Danny Ceballos, under both managers, obviously, David Luiz, Eddie Nketiah. Emil Smith-Rowe actually was under both managers, even though Emil Smith-Rowe had more features, I would say, under Wenger and Emery. I mean, under Wenger and Arteta than he did Emery. Martinez played more games under Arteta, but he was actually in for both teams. It's a technicality, but if you guys can take him out if you want. Gabriel, Xhaka, Bellerin, Joe Willock, Kieran Tierney, Lucas Torreira, Guendouzi, Ozil, Elneny, Pepe, Aubameyang, Reece Nelson, Holding, Kolasinac, Mustafi, and Socrates. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if we're being real, it's pretty tight. Like, to say either of them have a far better squad is just a huge stretch. It's a huge and like I say, to use that to bang an Arteta out narrative and use contract extensions with players that he wants to keep is just
44 players. 44 players. Exactly. These guys have both had on their team.
Yeah, but my main point would be that Emery had Aubameyang in his prime. I want to disagree with Kesh slightly. I still think Aubameyang has a lot to offer, but I mean, Kesh is right in terms of what he's doing now. He had
for a player on 350k, he's not the same player. You basically rewarded him for what he's done in the past, rather than what you're going to get over the next 3 years.
And the truth is, like you say, it was an emotional contract extension, but the one of the other truths is that if he did go, our fans would have been in uproar, and a lot of these contract extensions comes from trying to prevent potential, a fan backlash. And then let's not forget.
That's the problem for me, though. That's the problem for me. They're doing it based on all the fuck ups they've done over the past few years, rather than thinking of the best interest of the club. Like, you don't see other clubs saying, "Oh no, our fans are going to get upset, so we shouldn't let I don't know, we shouldn't move Ronaldo on. We shouldn't move."
Listen. Let's get deep into this. First things first. Ainsley Maitland-Niles played under both managers. He featured a lot more under Unai Emery. Okay. Are we saying Ainsley Maitland-Niles got worse under Arteta, or are we just saying he was never that good in the first place? Because
not good in the first place.
No, and what we're also saying is that he doesn't want to play right back. So a lot of people being like, "Why is Bellerin playing over Ainsley Maitland-Niles?" Maitland-Niles has told Arteta, like, right back is not where I want to play. That's why he's only been on loan to a club that will play him centre mid. So you need to like, don't bang that Bellerin is awful drum with we could have kept Ainsley Maitland-Niles. It's just factually incorrect. Ainsley Maitland-Niles doesn't want to play right back for Arsenal. So that's it. That's why he doesn't play right back for Arsenal. Otherwise he'd still be in the squad. Okay,
we're going to be here all day. So there's going to be certain players we're going to skip, obviously. But Lacazette is definitely not one of them. Lacazette, under Arteta, under Emery, to me, was the same player. Gets you 10, 15 goals, max.
Yeah, I know, but only look at a picture of Lacazette now. Look at a picture of him under Emery. I mean, the guy is totally different. Physically, Lacazette and Aubameyang in that season under Emery were a pretty decent pair. Far more prolific than they are now.
Brendan,
can I just make a quick point? I think Unai Emery's system and the way that we played, how we played attacking exit football, where at times we left ourselves open, allowed Lacazette and Aubameyang to play to the top of their game. So I think, in a way, Arteta's system and way of playing kind of affects the way that Aubameyang and Lacazette are playing. Because up until like Emile Smith-Rowe came into the team, we were so defensive and we so struggled to get goals. We struggled with that link between attack and defence because we didn't have it. But it's hard for Lacazette and Aubameyang to play at the top of their game. Whereas when we're always on the front foot or looking to be on the front foot, it's easy for them to play at the top of their game, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
No, it does, yeah, totally. But you would also say that everyone would rather have a 27, 28-year-old Lacazette and a 29-year-old Aubameyang than you would have a 30, 31-year-old.
There's a big sore thumb in the middle of this, and it's Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka played under both managers, but clearly majority of his run was at the back end of Emery and the beginning of Arteta. Why is it that people are saying Arteta has not improved Bukayo Saka? To me, that is absolutely ridiculous, because when everyone says, look on this list, who has Arteta improved? Who has he improved? He definitely 100% improved Saka. He definitely improved Xhaka, because Xhaka, when he came into the team, Xhaka became a different player. When he was getting performances out of David Luiz that Emery couldn't get near the back end of his career, he was getting performances out of Dani Ceballos. There was a lot of players. Eddie Nketiah was looking like a different player when he came back from loan, because he did play under Unai Emery and he never got really a good running. Emery gave him a running. He had faith in him. Emile Smith-Rowe
improved himself,
I would argue though that it's easier for Granit Xhaka to be better now, because when he plays midfield too, he's got Thomas Partey next to him, and if Thomas Partey's not playing, there's some games where obviously
it's
we've
not
got
even
Elneny
it's not even just that.
To begin with,
the way that
Arteta played was very pragmatic. So he didn't have them. Their teams couldn't find them spaces in and around Granit Xhaka because there weren't them space there because we were so tight together. So I don't know. I still feel like Xhaka's a similar player to what he was under Emery. He just makes less mistakes.
Okay, we're gonna move past Leno, because I felt like Leno's been consistent under both managers, and he's been a good shining light in the team. Bukayo Saka, we're gonna move past it. Callum Chambers, he played under Emery. He never really played under Arteta much, but he's been managed under both. Dani Ceballos, let's get into it. Dani Ceballos, I'm not keeping him, but sticking to the point, he played better under Arteta than Emery. Is that to say, Arteta has a better team because he's getting a tune out of Emery, out of players that Emery couldn't get a tune out of?
It's barely a
With
tune
Sabah
though.
joining us.
Yeah, I mean it's not there's marginal difference. I don't think anyone can say that Ceballos was crap under Emery and is slightly and really really good under Arteta. I don't think you can say he was good under Emery
Maybe
and
that's the
great
problem. Maybe
under
that's the
Arteta.
problem. Too many players that you can't get a regular tune now. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
maybe. Yeah, or yeah.
Okay.
In terms of those players not being good enough.
Okay, let me just go through this list as quick as possible so we can point out parts that we want to talk about. So where are we now? We're at Danny Ceballos, right? You got David Luiz. Oh my God, we can't go any further. We got to stop right there. David Luiz. When people talk about individual errors and things that managers cannot control, both managers cannot control David Luiz making errors that lead to goals, penalties, or giving away free kicks just outside the box. And that's one thing. This man has played 65 games for the club before the beginning of this season. He probably got another 11 to 12 appearances in the league, plus all competitions. Probably another 25 to 30 appearances by the end of the season. Right? He'll be finishing the end of the season with 90 total appearances at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say this team is any different when you have 45 plus players, and some of those players are players that you guys didn't rate under Emery anyways?
But again, I would argue that what the manager can control is how long he's here for. He's looking at giving him another new contract extension. I'm pretty sure that if Arteta said, look, I don't want David Luiz anymore, they would get him a centre-back. Whether that be a top-level centre-back or not, they would get him a centre-back to replace him. But we want to keep this guy here,
Well, we got Gabriel, didn't we? So, I mean, he did get that centre-back. I think Luiz was just meant to be, an extra bit of backup in and around the squad. He's ended up playing a little bit more. Has Luiz been great? No. Has he been dog shit under Arteta? I wouldn't say he has. I know he's had a few sending offs, but he still had some big games. Look, essentially, him and Rob Holding won us the FA Cup. If we're gonna, talk about him making improvements to the squad, I think to say Luiz has deteriorated under Arteta, I wouldn't say it's true. I just think Luiz is a weird sign. I agree with Brandon that contract extension is a bit of a strange one, but I understand it in the same respect because we're in a pandemic and signing players was always going to be hard. So
it shouldn't be hard though. It shouldn't be hard.
But it's factually hard though because not many clubs have signed players though.
The reason why is, listen, Chelsea signed players, yeah, and I know we say, oh, we ain't got Roman Abramovich as an owner. We don't need Roman Abramovich as an owner. Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, has not put his own money in Chelsea Football Club for how many years? Man City has not put their owners have not put their money in that club since like 2017. So what is our excuse for not putting money in our club?
But I mean, they haven't. They didn't get Partey and Gabriel. I mean, they haven't invested.
That was not enough.
I know. I totally agree. But
this is where we're going to become stuck because this is what they're going to do for the foreseeable future. They're going to give us 2 signings for the summer and call it a day. But those 2 signings are basically a waste of time because the following year, the Man City is going to improve. So you're still trying to play catch up.
Okay, Kesh, guys, 1 second. We're getting off track a little bit. My whole point about this part, so we can move on from this part alone, with 44 players or what is it? Yeah, 44 players total that have played.
No, there's not 44, is there? The numbers are missing, that's why.
Oh shit, what am I talking about? I'm an idiot. Let me check how many numbers. What's the actual numbers? 1 second.
Just highlight them all. You're 25, right? I can't see. To be honest, man, I feel like without the
granular parts, yeah,
and also without disregarding this as a conversation topic. I think as we can tell, it's just really tight. And all I'm trying to disagree with is this notion that Emery has a far superior squad, whilst also criticizing certain players. I think 26. Yeah, I mean,
so 26 out of the 48 man's squad that we have over the time period that Emery and Arteta have both managed, 26 of them are the same players. 26. So when you look at the 2 teams and you say to yourself, hey, what is the litmus test of how these two teams are better? Is it the 26 players that have played for both managers, or is it the players that the two teams have not had under each other? Or is it the improvements that you've seen from the players? Because from these 26 players that I'm looking at right now, barring Saka and some of the young players, there's no one really improving.
No, but I think the truth is, like, so going back to Iwobi and Pepe, of course, Pepe should be a better signing, is probably a better footballer. I'd argue that Iwobi is probably a better player in possession in just terms of being a general all-round midfielder. But of course, Pepe should be a better signing. But the truth is, he hasn't been. And if you're asking me who would I prefer, I mean, in terms of contributing to how we play right now, I would probably say it's really, really tight. So I think there's a few players in there who, like Gabriel, should be a better signing than some of our previous centre halves.
You know what?
He's not necessarily shown that as a better player.
You know what I will say though is, yeah, because a lot of the fans, they wanted Jose Mourinho, and he's a proven manager. He is a serial winner, and look what's going on across the road. So what's the excuse there then?
Yeah, I mean, experienced managers make mistakes. You know, there's no guarantee that you get an experienced manager and David Luiz doesn't make a mistake, or Emile Smith-Rowe doesn't hand the ball against Benfica. You know, an experienced manager doesn't change that. Of course, there's situations where you think, oh, an experienced manager might do better. But Kesh is right in terms of who we wanted. Jose was potentially a realistic candidate, and just because you buy a proven winner doesn't mean you're going to win. Doesn't mean you're going to win Sweet FA. Like
Jose's wash, let's be real. No, Jose failed at Man United because he was not backed. He was not backed. When he says that he wants a player gone, they didn't do it. That's how Jose works. You listen to every word Jose demands of you, and Jose will win.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't want Jose, but there were certainly people saying that, like, we should have wanted. Yeah, we should have done what Spurs done and get Mourinho in, and that's like. I mean, to be fair, on paper, it's a fair demand, but I'm glad we didn't. I think we can all agree.
1 second, guys. Let Brendan jump in.
I was one that wanted Jose before Arteta was employed, but it was down to the fact that he was a serial winner. I wanted someone who was going to come into the dressing room and not take any crap, get rid of players that are just not doing it, been doing it for years. But like Kesh said, you see what's going on down the road. I think we probably have dodged a bullet with Mourinho, definitely.
And also, we wanted him as well because under Emery, it became painful, right? And anything other than Emery seemed an upgrade or seemed like appealing. I would have, there was a lot of managers that I would have taken at that time when Emery was managing or going through that really rough patch where I thought, I would have taken Championship managers. I just wanted, I think we all wanted change at that time, so that's why. All of these managers.
But this is what I mean. Fans are flip flops though, and there's nothing wrong with Brendan wanting Jose. Jose is not necessarily he's a finished manager. When Jose came in the summer, I said to Tottenham fans, it's going to flop, right? And they said no. They said it's going to work, and I said no. But the reason why it's going to flop is you're not going to back him fully. You're going to give him a couple things that you want, and you're not going to go all the way for Jose, and that's where it goes wrong. If Jose comes in and he says, I want 2 defenders, I want 2 midfielders, I want a winger, you get in those 5 players, because trust me, he's going to follow through and he's going to meet your goals. But the fact that you give him 2 signings they gave him or something like that, and Bell, a washed up Bell, no centre backs, Jose can't depend on those 2 centre backs because they can't defend consistently for 90 minutes.
Okay, Kesh, let's not get off track a little bit. Let's bring it back to the main point. Now we got ads back and we got what do you call it? GoonerExpress. GoonerExpress. First thoughts. You've seen the pod, you've seen what we've been talking about the whole time. Where do you stand on the 2 things? Do you stand that Emery did better than Arteta with a far worse players? Do you think the players are similar, or do you think Arteta or do you think Emery had the far better players? Can't hear him. Can you guys hear him?
No, unmute, buddy.
Nah, GoonerExpress, just jump back in, jump back out, because we can't hear a word you're saying. Okay, and then so moving on. What the hell? Okay, yeah. So we got Muhammad. Muhammad's back. Muhammad's in the house. Yo, Muhammad. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Egal.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think Emery's squad was better or Arteta's squad, or do you think they're the same?
I think Emery squad was better.
I can't hear
Yeah,
you, bro. You
yeah,
got
Emery
TV
squad.
playing in the background, bro. I can't have that on. Sorry. Just come back on another time, okay?
Hello?
Yeah, there's too much background noise. Was that him or was that somebody else?
No,
I think that was him.
Me.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead, Eds. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. For me, obviously, I missed a bit when you were looking at the actual squads. For me, again, the squads that Arteta had, the team that he had, and obviously looking at the players that he's brought in, at whatever stage, were better. Again, Emery played more with Guendouzi and Torreira. Obviously, Arteta had that choice. Hasn't played with them this season. But let us all be honest. We're talking about squads, Emery, The only reason we're discussing this is because we are totally underachieving. That's the crux of it all. And saying, oh, yeah, Emery did better with this. Because for me, one of my statements is that with this squad, Arsene Wenger would be doing better. For me, again now, with this squad, not even looking at Emery's squad, I do think, and I didn't like Emery, I do think Emery would do better with this squad.
Can I object?
You can.
Yeah.
You can. Let me just finish the whole thing, and then you definitely object. So the whole notion of Emery squad, this squad, you know what? Cool. And again, I do feel Emery squad was worse than this, but I feel the whole notion, everything is all down to us underperforming as a whole club. And me personally, I look at West Ham squad, they're not better than our team. I look at that Everton team, debatable. I look at so many teams above us, again, debatable. Even at Chelsea squad, debatable.
Mm-hmm.
But they are still managing to get more out of their teams than us. So that's one of the things I just want to make clear, because obviously people will say, "Oh, Emery did it," but let's go to the real problem. That's the reason.
I agree with you. We are underachieving, but I don't think we're underachieving that much. That is that obvious. I feel we should be 7th, 6th. I feel that's how good our squad is. 7th or 6th, European League position. Yeah, we say West Ham and that are not better than us. I agree, they're not better than us. But those managers are going in there. They're not trying to implement a philosophy or a style of play that's going to follow through for the club. They're not trying to do that. They're just trying to get results. That's the sort of manager they are. We say Emery could do better, but Emery was failing towards the back end of last season before Arteta came in with a much weaker. I know we say the league's not been that great, but there weren't that much teams challenging for a top 4 position. There wasn't. And we say we're underachieving, but Liverpool is only 6 points off of us. Everton is only 6 points off of us. So does that mean every team is underachieving them? Because you can't just say it's Arsenal underachieving. There's other teams.
Liverpool definitely.
You're gonna HJ90. You're after this argument. You're gonna go next.
Yeah, Liverpool definitely underachieving.
Egal, I think I told you in your last stream, I just think Arteta has a much better squad. I've got a lineup here for a Southampton game Emery had. We went with Bellerin, Lichtsteiner, Koscielny, Monreal, Xhaka, Guendouzi, Torreira, Mkhitaryan, Iwobi, Aubameyang. You compare that with the starting 11 we went with against our last games, I think that lineup is better, because you have to look at it line position by position, lineup like that. And I think Unai Emery got the best out of that squad. I think, he was 1 point off top 4. I ask everyone this: if Emery had Partey and Gabriel during that season, we got to the Europa League final, do you think he would have got top 4? And do you think he would have won the Europa League? Because I think he would have. And Arteta's got this backing. He's got, he's got all these players and more, like Partey, like Gabriel. He's got Murray, who I think is pretty good. Cedric's a decent backup right back. So he's got more. But I think, if Emery had the backing Arteta's getting now in terms of contract renewals, all these players he's signing, then I think Emery could have done better. But this manager, Arteta's been backed so much. He's been peddled to be this big manager he is. And now we're at a point where, look, it's not going to happen. Now,
do you think this is backing? Do you think these are backing?
No. Okay. I'll show you this. These are all things that Arteta agreed to.
Put me on the chat, bro.
Arteta agreed to all this. He agreed to signing a Aubameyang to new deal. He all of these things you mentioned.
It's the club.
Arteta agreed to this.
Listen, it's the club. You can't say Arteta agreed to that. So
Michael, you're next.
No. Arteta signed off to this. Arteta signed off to this.
Oh, Arteta. So Arteta signed up on Partey. It didn't involve Stan Kroenke. It didn't involve.
Yeah, but no. The club hierarchy would have asked Arteta, "Do you want Partey?" He would have, wouldn't he?
And again, just to back up that point as well, let us not forget what happened, what significant thing happened this summer. Arteta, when he came here, there was a setup. Managing director, sorry.
He was a coach. And
he was a set. Yes.
He was only given that manager role after the season started. That's when they announced it. No, that's when they announced.
That's when they announced it.
He signed off.
One second, guys. 1 second. One at a time.
Why do you think they waited for it to be that long? After the Ozil saga, it's only then they decided to announce that Arteta is the manager. That's to deflect from what they're not doing, their job that they're not doing. So now when it comes to Arteta being sacked in a few months, they'll pin it all on him, and it'll be, no, we done what the manager wanted to do. That's what they're gonna do. The whole point of sacking Wenger and moving on to a coach is because they didn't want to give a manager all this, but they've seen that they're not going to follow through. They didn't want to spend. They didn't want to give Allegri what he demanded. They didn't want to give Enrique what they wanted. So they said, let's pin it on someone who's weak, and
so they signed the puppet.
That's what but one second, guys. 1 second, one at a time. Harry,
you can be the puppet, but who's the puppet master? That's what you have to ask yourself.
The puppet master is Kroenke because he treats this club like a business, not a football club.
Hey, real quick, can I just make sure my mic's working? Yeah,
it's working. We can hear you.
So.
Hey, Shay, 1 second, bro. Would you take Emery back now?
Never.
Definitely.
You take him.
No. Okay, wait. No, hear me out.
No.
I hate him.
For the rest of this season, as an interim manager.
One second. Because I'm going to ask you simple questions because your comments, your statements about Emery are almost simple as well. So, would you take Emery back now as manager
for the rest of the season? Yes.
Were you happy when Emery left?
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay. Can I change this? Can I talk about this more?
Yeah, but
where's Michael?
If I knew the club were going to appoint Mikel Arteta, I would not have sacked Emery.
Okay. Did you want Wenger to leave?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you wanted Emery to come in?
He wasn't on my top choice, but he was up there.
Yeah. Okay. So the theme is Arsenal fans get fed up of Wenger because we believe we're underachieving, right?
Yeah.
Then we get Emery in. We want to get rid of Emery because we don't think we're doing well. Now we want to get rid of Arteta because we don't think we're good enough. So the process is really simple. You either stick or twist, and if you stick, so if we stick with Arteta, like Kesh says, then you have to back the manager. But to simply just say, Emery would do better with this squad. Well, would Emery have won an FA Cup final? Would Emery have beaten Man City and Chelsea?
We don't know that.
Final? No, we don't. But the proof is.
But you just said that.
Let me ask you this. If we had Emery with this squad right now, do you think he would give us a better chance to win the Europa League?
It's a great question, but if we had Emery with this squad right now, in about 3-4 games, if Emery took over now, in about 6 weeks, you had all the players thinking, I cannot be bothered to pay for this manager because he can't communicate with us and we don't like him as a person.
But his tactics are better.
Wait. Really quick. The communication thing, that's rubbish. Yeah, this language. No. Let me finish. Yeah, the language barrier thing.
When everyone's talking over each other.
The language barrier thing doesn't really even exist. Yeah, look at Marcelo Bielsa. The guy can't speak a word of English. He has a translator. Look at what he's doing with Leeds. That's just rubbish. As long as you get the right people in to translate stuff for you, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Marcelo Bielsa is learning English. Yeah, it's not like Emery doing the same thing.
I'm pretty sure he speaks English, Bielsa.
Yeah.
Perfect English.
1 second, guys.
Perfect English. He chooses not to because he doesn't want the media to twist anything he says.
Yeah, my main point is that you can say that you want Arteta out. To say Emery would do a better job, it's just the pointless thing. Emery might do a better job for 2-3 games. David Moyes might come in and play a 4-5-1, stick there, soak it up, and do a better job. But in 15 games, if we carried on with that, we'd be, where's the Arsenal football gone? Where's the Arsenal football?
Do you keep Arteta then, Harry?
Of course, yeah. For me, I keep Arteta all day.
Why? What do you see in Arteta right now to keep him?
I see a plan.
What plan do you see?
I see a plan to get rid of any bad eggs.
Why is Xhaka and Bellerin?
Emery did the same thing.
1 second, because Xhaka and Bellerin aren't bad eggs. Xhaka and Bellerin are professional footballers who.
Bellerin's a professional footballer.
Harry, you do better than Bellerin.
Bellerin complained about 2-3 years ago. He complained because Alexis Sanchez wanted to win too much.
And he said that losing to Liverpool was normal.
That's a footballer who just wants to earn his money and not put himself under any sort of pressure or stress. That's all he wants to do. All he cares.
What's the deeper issue? I'm going to ask you guys here now because I think we're going from the point. What's the deeper issue? Is it deeper issue about us acting like a big club? Because if we was acting like a big club and was buying quality players, no one will give a shit about Arteta. We're focusing on the manager because we're being weak in focus on the manager because we're expecting a manager to come in and perform miracles with what the owners is giving him. But if we go and get Southampton manager's quality, if he comes in and he doesn't perform well, are we then going to turn on him as well? Because I know that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to say he's not good enough, but clearly he is good enough.
The reason why Arteta was brought in, yeah, there's a reason why Arteta was brought in.
I said, why is he not good? Why is he not good enough?
I'm not saying
he's tactically inept.
Why is he good enough then? Why is he
tactically inept? Can't make substitutions. He's man-management been poor.
One second. We just throw out these accusations about a manager.
Accusations? You want me to go through it?
1 second, let me speak. Like he's tactically inept. He can't manage. If
true.
1 second, if Guendouzi is acting like an idiot, right? Repeatedly disrespecting fellow professionals on the football pitch, of talking about money when you've just come into the Premier League. Right. If he's saying all of these things, that's pretty bad. If a new manager comes in and Arteta goes, you know, you might be good, but you're a bad egg, and as it's proven, Guendouzi is a bad egg because he's having problems elsewhere. If Willian goes on a commercial trip to Dubai and comes back within 2 days, they are totally different situations. So you can't compare the two. So, well, he managed Guendouzi one way, but he managed Willian the other.
I'm not talking about those decisions.
Harry,
explain. Harry. Okay, Lacazette start the season, gets 3 and 3, and then drop for a month. What's that about?
Explain the man management.
Player of the month in January, and then he gets dropped too much.
Yo, I don't know if there's a delay. 1 second. I don't know if there's a delay, but HJ90 and GoonerExpress, whenever you guys are speaking, you guys are talking over each other. Kesh, if you want to intervene with somebody, let them finish their point and then intervene, because we're talking over each other too much, guys. One at a time, please.
Let me just finish my man management. I just want to finish my man management point.
Let Brandon go after Kesh, after Harry. Okay, guys, go ahead.
Because that's an accusation thrown at Mikel Arteta about man management, and people do use that Guendouzi with the end comparison. Not saying you are. Another comparison that they use is the Pepe and Xhaka comparison, when one player got sent off and one player didn't. So in Granit Xhaka, whether we like it or not, you've got a player that is never late for training. All the attributes that you want from a professional footballer as a manager. Just works hard, listens to the manager, implements the structure. Of course, he makes mistakes. In Pepe, you've got someone the total opposite, has come over to Arsenal, hasn't lived up to his potential, and also has a demeanour on the pitch which is almost
Why is that the opposite?
That's an accusation on Pepe, isn't
Do
it?
you see
Saying that
Xhaka in training?
Wait, hold on. You know, sorry, Harry.
Can I just finish the point? Can I just finish the point really quickly? So in Arteta's eyes,
Brendan's next, guys. By the way,
in Arteta's eyes, you've got Xhaka, who is the utmost professional. I totally agree that his performances aren't up to standard. I totally agree that the sending offs aren't. And in Pepe, you've got a character who doesn't to take it as seriously. So of course, the slack that Arteta will give Xhaka on the red card will be more than he gives Pepe. That's like anything. People get treated differently in every single industry. It's not bad management. It's just the way it works. It's not bad man management. I don't necessarily agree with some of the things Arteta does, but you can simply understand that the way you treat Granit Xhaka, a player who's been at the club for 4 or 5 years, in comparison to the way you treat Pepe, will always be different. The same reason why you treat a hot-heading Guendouzi that you would to Willian.
okay, Harry.
I'm not talking
Thank
about
you.
that though.
Brendan's next, guys. But before Brendan goes, somebody said Arteta cult. By the way, just so you know, there is HJ90's Arteta out. You got Ads who's Arteta out. You have Brendan who's Arteta out. You have me, Kesh, and Harry who are Arteta in. And GoonerExpress, I forget, are you Arteta out, in, or in the middle?
Out.
Okay, so there's 4 people here who are Arteta out. So when you're saying Arteta's cult, we're actually having a civilized conversation instead of just cussing at each other. So that's what you have to realize. Now, Harry, Brendan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I just want to make one last point because I've got to jump off, mate. But I appreciate you allowing me to come on again. And yeah, the reality is like Ad said, right, we are massively underperforming. And the reality is Unai Emery got the best out of his squad. Arteta is not getting the best out of the squad. Our football club should not be sat 10th in the league. We should not be debating this in the first place, or 11th, or wherever you. We should not be in this position in the first place, and that is the overall point, really. You know, if we go out on Thursday of the Europa League, then it proves to me that this manager is not good enough, and it's not just the manager. Kesh is right. We need wholesale changes in the board. We need wholesale changes in terms of players as well. We need better players coming into this squad, and it is difficult for managers to work with what they've got. But do I believe Arteta's getting the best out of the squad he has? No. Do I believe that Emery got the best out of the squad that he had? Yes, I do.
No.
So that's the difference for me. But cheers, guys. Great debate, and yeah,
Guys,
I appreciate you.
go check out Brandon's channel. The name of his channel and his Twitter is in the description, so go check that out, guys. It's BrandonAFC TV. Check it out, guys. Anyways, have a good one, Brendan.
Yeah, see you in a bit, Brandon.
Cheers, mate.
Now I'm gonna go to ads.
Sorry. Just someone said that was still 12. No,
11th.
10. Well, 11th. Whoever
Leeds won today.
Yeah,
Leeds won
today.
Yeah.
For me, like, to be fair, Brandon hit on the head. Arteta has not gotten the best out of this squad. No matter how rubbish the players are, he has decided, this is my squad. He came in 8th. We finished 8th. Cool. People will say, cool, half a season. But people will bring up the FA Cup win, beating Liverpool, beating Man City, beating Chelsea. But then we won't bring up losing to Olympiacos at home in Europa League.
Yes, he is.
2-1, needing a goal even before going into extra time, bringing on Martinelli's second half of extra time. Like, Arteta has made decisions and he's made like statements and he's made so many things that for me, they just don't add up. And my issue with Arteta is that the fact that Emile Smith-Rowe has saved his job for him. Because, and the reason why I say that is because since hold on.
No,
since his introduction into this team, Arsenal creating more chances. Yeah. Arsenal look a totally different squad with Emile Smith-Rowe.
Facts.
He tried Willian in the number 10. He's tried Willock in the number 10. He's tried so many other players in the number 10. But then my thing is now, if Emile Smith-Rowe was still injured, what would happen? Where would we be? And the fact that, cool, everyone could talk about Ozil, the board, this or that? Why would you spite your face and struggle so much just for the sake of not playing a player that you'd rather us lose instead of just playing a player and actually trying to keep us near the top? Again, now, I'm not saying I thought we could get into the top 4. Not challenging none of that. I thought with the squad we had and the new signings, we could actually be in around the top 4. And looking at the season, how it's even panned out, I'm like, Arteta is really and truly not the man. And I would be afraid for us to say, okay, going into next year, even if we get Champions League football, imagine if we do win Europa League, I would not trust Arteta with money to spend to take this club forward.
Exactly.
And that's just on me. Like whether it's man management skills, tactical, like substitutions.
But Partey and Gabriel are good signings, though, right? From Arteta.
100%.
It's something that we've all been crying out for years, right? Replace the spine of the team.
100%. Obviously, Partey's been injured, and I thought, and so many even pundits have said Gabriel is a different type of defender that we actually need. Someone that's actually strong, can battle, win in the air. He can run back. He can recover.
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah. Can I go through it for you?
Yeah, zoom in a little bit more.
So just to finish off, my point. At the start of the season, everybody has targets. Like, and I'm sure Arteta had a target at the start of the season from the Arsenal board. With me, I feel you cannot reward failure. Even if Arsenal finished 7th this year, you can actually say that's progression. But we've moved backwards. And I'll say now, whoever says that it's going to be hard or it's going to get worse before it gets better is lying to you. That is a lie. It's not supposed to get worse or us to move backwards before we move forwards. No. What it should be is small building blocks. Even if obviously we want a huge step up, but it should always be small building blocks. Even if you're removing all your dead wood and your bad eggs, it should still be small building blocks forward, not backwards. And that's it from me.
Okay. So I'm giving HJ90 the floor quickly to explain what this is.
Yeah, this is when Arteta was appointed. This was the expectations that were being laid out. This, when it says this season, it means last season. So first one is finish in a respectable position. 8th is not respectable. You know, this is like, that was like the worst finish in 25 or something years. So that's a cross. He's failed to achieve that. Next one, challenge for the Europa League. He got knocked out last 32. Cross. Instill a culture. Now, again, culture is one of them buzzwords. What's a culture? He's keeping all these Wenger players, Xhaka, Bellerin. You know, he kept those sort of players in the first season, and the players that he got rid of in January, he could have got rid of in the summer, but he didn't.
Oh God!
For me, instill a culture. Culture is a very debatable word, and I think many fans will disagree. So I'm gonna put a question mark over it, just to make people happy. I'll put a question mark over it. So in that half a season, Arteta was in the job. He failed to achieve any of his expectations. This season, make top 4. It's not going to happen. I'll put any money on it. That's not going to happen. Challenge for Europe. Again, that has a question mark over it. Whether we can. There's so many good teams this season in the Europa League. You got Spurs, Man United, Milan, Leicester. These teams are still in this competition with better managers than we have. Tactically better managers, better players as well, you could say. All right. So we could go to the end of the season and not finish any of those objectives that have been laid out by the board. And Arteta Innes, I've got a question for you. If these expectations are not being met, why are we lowering them and accepting 11th, accepting 10th? Why are we lowering our expectations? This manager has taken us from 8th to 11th. We've been 15th this season for a few weeks going. For me, if I look at it, if I put myself in your shoes, why am I giving Arteta another year? What reasons, other than this so-called plan that we're going to do something? I don't see a point in keeping him. I want to hear you guys speak.
Okay, Kesh.
Yeah. So
sorry.
So
I'll
we
ask
say
the question after.
finish in a put the thing back up, please.
Oh, he unshared it.
I'll get it back. I think it just glitched off or something.
Okay. Anyways, what were you gonna say, Kesh? Well, we're getting it back up.
I think the first one was finishing in a respectable position.
Finishing in a respectable position, yeah? Cool. For me, if you looked at last season, I think many other teams was performing like how we are now. Man United was performing like we are now. They brought in Bruno, they shoot up the table. There was Sheffield United that was above Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Same way West Ham is now. Challenge for the Europa League, yes, I expect us to do that. Was that technically Arteta's fault? That game was
Yes.
wrapped up. No.
Yes, it was. Yes,
No,
it
no.
Let him finish. Let him finish, and then you'll get your say.
It 100% was not. David Luiz ducked out of the ball.
Let him
and that
finish.
was goal. Yeah, that's not a manager's fault. I've played centre back. I've played in semi-finals. You do not duck under a ball and let the opponent score, and then don't take responsibility for that. And that's the manager's fault. Aubameyang missed chances, like he done in the Benfica game. Install a culture. A culture doesn't just develop from chopping and dropping players. A culture develops by bringing in big characters, winning big games, winning competitions.
But that's the expectation.
It's a synergy. Yeah, it's an expectation, but come on,
he failed.
He's failed, but you're saying...
There you go. You've answered your own question.
No.
Guys.
I answered my own question because Emery was in charge of that season. Arteta came in. Are you telling me that when Emery was there, you still expected to meet those targets?
Well, there would be different targets because it's obviously a different season.
No. That was the same target Emery had. Challenge in the
and you were
next to each other so they can argue.
Cool. It's not even an argument.
It's very argument. Hold on. But then one thing you said, Kesh, was Man United bought Bruno and then shut up the table.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the time where the pandemic broke out, I'm sure Man United were below us. Or if they weren't below us, they were near enough around us in the table.
There was near enough around us.
Can I just ask a question about that real quick? Kesh.
Hold on, let me just finish my question to Kesh quickly. They went on a run before, and then obviously finished above in the top four.
Mm-hmm.
What was our reason for not going on a run and finishing finishing in the top four? Would you say? Obviously, pandemic started in February, and Premier League stopped in March when everything stopped. We came back from the pandemic. Man United went on their run, finished top four.
Their reason was Bruno. Their reason was Bruno was a catalyst.
Hold on, so only Bruno was
the point gap was the point gap. The point gap is still short. So obviously, sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, Kesh?
Both Tottenham, Arsenal was not performing. They was on a bad run of games and they weren't performing. So was Man United. They ended up getting Bruno and then they started playing much better. They started grinding out results.
When was the pandemic? When did we break up?
I don't remember those dates.
Bruno was in January.
January.
From my remember last year, we broke up. The Premier League stopped end of March, start of April. So again,
but he was the catalyst. That new signing was the catalyst for Man United. Man United fans will tell you. They will tell you themselves.
I think Fernandes is like their 8th all-time goal scoring midfielder in the Premier League or something.
That's how good Bruno has been. That's how much of a catalyst he's been for that team.
Just to use Spurs as an example, right? Spurs bringing Mourinho, a proven winner. I think everyone can agree that our squad is quite similar to Spurs. A lot of fans say, okay,
ours is worse.
Okay, ours is worse. But you bring in an experienced manager, Mourinho. But it's a debate. It's a debatable question whether our squad is worse. Maybe our squad is more rounded. You'd say that in Harry Kane and Son, they have two elite world-class players.
They have a better midfield as well.
Listen, we're not comparing ourselves to Spurs. We're comparing.
No, talking about Arsenal.
Whether you sack Mikel or not, whatever manager comes in, got to back them with quality players. Otherwise, you cannot move forward.
That's what I'm saying. Mourinho didn't get top 4 with Spurs. Mourinho didn't achieve his targets with Spurs, yet you all would have wanted Mourinho over Arteta.
Can I actually make a point? Can I make a point? I've barely even spoke since we got on. So my question to that, Kesh, I was waiting for someone to say that, yeah. So just like theorize it. The club are about to whip out a £300 million summer transfer window, right? Who would you rather have as the manager for that window?
Mikel Arteta.
It matters, right? It matters because Arteta will look for players that play under Mikel Arteta, yeah, that play under his style, his tactics, etc. Carlo Ancelotti and Mourinho will find players that play under him. Which style of football is better, Ancelotti or Arteta? Ancelotti, because he's won stuff, yeah. So my question there is the reason why Arteta was brought in was one reason and one reason only. The club could have easily gone and got Ancelotti, but they were never going to spend £200 million.
Yeah.
So they got in Arteta, and their thought process is, oh, if we don't spend money, the fans will say, oh yeah, because they don't trust Arteta yet. They're going to give him a few years to trust him. It's all rubbish. Arteta's a puppet and he's a pawn to the club just not wanting to spend money. That's it.
You actually believe that? In what world? You really think they're going to bring him in to build up? Take yourself as a person, as a human being. Yeah? Are you going to go on a job just because you're a puppet? No. The guy wants to win. The guy was brought in to install a certain way of playing, and they decided that
he's losing.
No, he is losing. So therefore, they've identified the wrong manager because the type of football he wants to play, it requires technically gifted players. Like if you look at the Man City game, and you put a Cancelo in that team, a Gundogan, and a Kevin De Bruyne, we probably win that game that on Sunday. That's the difference between the squad and what you're trying to do.
That's true. But the point there, yeah, is me, yeah. I'm not backing the club up in any way. I want them all gone. Yeah, the Cronkies, the recruitment, all of them. But the point is, they're still here.
Anyway. Yeah.
So let me ask you. I'd rather have had a Carlo Ancelotti with no money, who probably still could have got us top 6 even without money, than Arteta, who's probably not. Arteta's not even going to finish top 8. Just saying. I bet I could put money on it.
I guarantee you, Ancelotti would not come just to be a puppet and get money.
Exactly.
Ancelotti's been promised.
Okay, guys.
Wait, hold on, Egal. He got 3 midfielders. The key to the way he's performing right now is he got the 3 midfielders that he wanted. So don't tell me about tell me about he would have come in here.
Let them finish, and then you'll jump in.
Has not spent. He bought 3 midfielders. He bought Godfrey. He already had a good left back. So if a manager wants something, you give it to them because at the end of the day, they're gonna die by that squad that they're giving.
But the point is,
people, 1 second, guys. People in the chat, I need you guys to do me a favor, guys. We're trying to start a movement here. We're trying to start an EGTV movement. I need you guys to smash a like on the video. There's a bunch of you guys watching. Just smash a like on the video. It takes 2 seconds, and then we'll continue. But GoonerExpress, Harry was waiting. I'll let you get your response. Just let Harry jump in quick, and then you'll go. Okay?
Yeah. I agree with suggesting Ancelotti. I do, but like Kesh said, it's about money, and he would have known that he wouldn't have got his players. But let's not forget when Ancelotti came in at Everton, he didn't set the world alight. He done okay. He took over from Ferguson, and he continued. He continued a steady bit of form. They won some games, they lost some games, but they didn't set the world alight. Then in the summer, he signed James Rodriguez, he signed Allen, he made some signings, and then he was.
They spent more than us.
Then he was able to implement his philosophy.
Wait, hold on. People are saying that Arsenal spent more than Everton. Everton spent more than us.
So with those players, he was able to implement his philosophy. And now when those players are out, they've had the confidence to still grind out results. But they've also lost at home to Fulham and home to Newcastle this month. So there's no doubt that Ancelotti is a great manager. Right? Yeah, but I'm saying there's no doubt Ancelotti is a great manager. I just think I think it's a bit of a stretch to say we could have got him. When we sacked Wenger, I remember,
and we weren't. The point that I was trying to make was that we weren't going to get him. The point that I'm trying to make, is you've just said it there. Ancelotti got the money that he needed. He got the players that he wanted for his philosophy, and Everton are now progressing. Arteta got the players he wanted. He got Willian, he got Cedric, Partey, Gabriel, all them lot. He got them all. Yeah, He chose to sell Martinez and instead replace him with Runarsson. The goalkeeping coach went to Arteta and said, "Get Runarsson." Arteta listened and bought him. So
I think it's
so
deeper than that.
Arteta.
I think
Arteta
we would not have got Partey if
signed
we didn't sell
Runarsson.
Martinez. We wouldn't have got Partey if we didn't sign Martinez.
That's acceptable. I'm not saying I'm not sell Martinez.
But why
yeah?
should a
You can,
manager?
if you wanted to sell,
Why should a manager? Do you think everyone's going to say to Ancelotti, "You've got to sell Pickford to go and get Rodriguez"? They're not saying that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, I know, but what I'm trying to say is he got the players he wanted. He's still got Willian and Cedric and Gabriel and Partey. He's still got them. Yet he's got worse with them. Ancelotti is progressing slowly with Everton. Yeah, Arteta gets the players he wants, and he's now worse than what he was last season. So why would the club, even if the club wanted to spend? No, it's because he's an inexperienced manager. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't have a style of football. He doesn't have a starting 11, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's got a style of football.
The style of football is but it's not working. It's not working. The style of football doesn't work.
Oli ain't got a style of football. He's got a style.
Oli does have a style of football.
No, the difference there is
he knows how to get the best out of his team.
Arteta, his style of football is awful man management, playing Willian for whatever reason, and sitting 11th in the Premier League table. That's the type of football he has. It's not good enough, yeah. And my question, Kesh, is
I don't believe we're going to finish 11th. I generally don't believe we're going to finish.
We're not. We're going to finish probably like 9th or 10th, yeah.
Exactly like we finished last season.
But that doesn't make a difference. There's no trophy for finishing 8th. You don't get anything.
There's no trophy for finishing outside the top 4.
That's fine. That's fine, yeah. But the point is, who cares whether you finish 8th? Like, there's this debate that everybody's having. Oh, do you think we'll finish 8th or 15th?
It don't matter.
Who cares?
It don't matter.
Quick question,
Arteta hasn't gotten better. That's the point.
Quick question, Kesh and Harry. Yeah? If we don't finish in any of the European positions and we do not win the Europa League, what happens with all the big hyped up summer transfer window? Because for me, I don't feel Kroenke will be pumping so much money into the club. Mm-hmm. So how do you think it'll go? Because I think we're going to still have the same set of players that we have this season.
And the decision's got to be made.
Add maybe two, three more players, but not of the quality that we always expect. What do you? How do you feel the summer's gonna go?
We're gonna be in the mud, and you're gonna have to make a decision because he can't achieve anything without getting in the players' want. So you have to move them on. You have to do something, unless you're going to come out and you're gonna put money in yourself and say, "Listen, I see where the club's at. We're not doing great. I see you need these players to play your style." Then there's no point in being there. He might as well resign himself. In the summer that Wenger was sacked, they wanted him, and they spoke to him, and he said, "Listen, I'm gonna need this," and that's the reason why he didn't come in the first place. That's one of the reasons why he turned us down. So if it comes to the summer and you're finishing 9th, Kroenke's got to make a decision. You either sack him or you put the money where your mouth is.
But look, sorry for putting in Harry really quickly though. There's a report already saying that Arteta has apparently said that if they don't finish Champions League, he's not going to get a Champions League transfer budget, which obviously makes sense. A Champions League transfer budget for Arsenal is probably about 70 million quid. So he's probably going to get no more than 30, 40 million if we're not even in the Europa League. So everybody's sitting there saying, "Oh, don't worry, he's going to get backed in the summer." No, he's not. He's going to get nothing in the summer. The only way he can buy players is by selling players first. Arteta will have a decision to make. Do I sell a Saka or a Martinelli for 100, 150 million quid, whatever they're worth, so I can buy better players? And if he does that, the fans will hate him. So, he's screwed either way. And you're right, he's got to leave. For me, if I was Arteta, I'd leave because he's never going to succeed.
Guys, 1 second. We've gone all around everywhere. We've covered all the little touching topics. I just want to bring it back to a narrow topic, okay? We've looked at the Excel spreadsheet of all the players. We've looked at the players that Emery has. We've looked at the players that Arteta had. We've looked at all those things, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the granular question that we have to solve, the hypothesis that was at the beginning of the thing that we need to come to a conclusion about is Emery's team that much worse than Arteta's team, or is it just we've made bigger signings that make it seem like this team is better? Which one is it? Because I think that's where the question lies now.
You hit the key word there.
If you want a change of manager, you'll say Emery squad is miles
One
better.
second, let Kesh finish.
Sorry,
You said the key word there. We signed the bigger players based on the budget. Doesn't mean they were the best or suitable, yeah? And for me, this is one of the things I feel we've not got it right. Because I didn't want the manager in the first place. I wanted a top manager, yeah? But we decided to go for him. Therefore, you've got to get the right person in charge of football performances, yeah? The same way Milan's done it and they've got Maldini in, yeah? He's in charge of the performance side of the football, yeah? You've got to get it perfect. Otherwise, it's not going to work in. And especially when it's a rookie.
Thanks for coming on.
Especially when it's a rookie manager who's learning on the job. The only thing that can get him over those sticky hurdles when he meets them is quality players. Not players where they're not so great, but you have to try and squeeze the last bit of juice out of them. Only real top managers can do that. You saw that with the likes of Ferguson. Man United squad over the years when they was winning stuff. Their squad was not world class, but he was that good of a manager.
Too far out.
No, it's not going too far. But I'm just stating the obvious, isn't it? So, as I'm saying, yeah, like you got to make the decision. I don't think the squad, Emery and Arteta squad, are that far apart. I don't.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm sorry if I interrupt people when they talk, or just because sometimes when someone makes a point,
it's okay. It's common.
You want to reply to that. You want to reply to that point because then otherwise
there's a delay as well. So it's all good.
Yeah, it goes in other points. And sorry if I came across patronising or disrespectful. I don't mean to be. It's just a passionate subject. What I can't take is the comparisons. And when I hear people say, well, like we were 15th, it's like, yeah, we were 15th, but we're not. If you start a season and you lose 3 games on the trot, you'll be 20th. So I don't, Arteta was 15th. I know that, but are we going to finish 15th? I bloody hope we're not. So I'm just my view is this: a lot of fans wanted Wenger out, thinking the grass was going to be greener. A lot of fans wanted Emery out, thinking the grass was going to be greener. Okay, and now we want Arteta out, thinking the grass is going to be greener. We've just got worse. So when we used to disrespect Wenger for saying top 4 is like a trophy, he didn't, by the way, he didn't say top 4 should reward a trophy. He meant it feels like a trophy because it's such an important achievement. When we continuously disrespect those things, as well as the players who now, like Giroud, would probably be pretty handful in our squad, and all these other players that we totally undermined, what happens is you just paint this arena of toxicity, and you kind of get what you deserve. So Emery, I think we all agree that Emery should have left. I think we can all agree the Arteta replacement was underwhelming. But like Kesh said, what we're trying to do is build something. And if you don't give Arteta the right players, he won't. Do you know what? He won't achieve what he should achieve. And you probably would be better off with a much simpler manager who will play a simple football style. But the truth is, the simpler manager we would attract or we would get wouldn't be Ancelotti. It would be David Moyes. And that's what you have to ask yourself. Where do we go from here? Of course, we demand better, and it's not me accepting mediocrity.
But guess what? David Moyes is higher than us in the league, so people only care about league position, right?
No, people don't care about league positions.
No, but look, every time, no. They really only care about league position ads. Anytime I say anything positive about Arteta, we're 10th.
Listen,
we're 10th.
Yeah, but Egal,
I hear.
There's a reason. There's a reason, right? Because as a fan, there's only one thing you want in football is to win. You want to see your team lifting the trophy at the end of the season. Yeah. 4th place or whatever West Ham are is closer to that than Arsenal. So that's why fans say it, because that's what matters.
GoonerExpress. This is why I'm so mad. This is why I'm so upset. This is why I get so reactionary. This is why people frustrate me, because I call it as my opinion is after we lost against Manchester City, it could have been worse. But you know what? We move on because this is not the litmus test that we test ourselves against. You know what people said to me? They said to me, "You're delusional because you're the one that's saying we should." You're delusional because you're saying Man City. This is you're basically saying, "Oh, you're defeatist. You're taking this and you're moving on." I'm saying, what do we expect? What do we
City
expect?
won. A bit of a wind away, but the City game, I'm upset that we lost it and the way we lost it. But we all predicted a loss. Like all these people, like if
But
there
where's the
are
meltdown?
genuine no, but there are genuine people out there saying, "Oh yeah, I'm happy with a 1-0 loss." That's wrong. But if like you're saying, just move on from it. You take game by game, then that's fine. But look, the thing for me is with this league position and what you said, Kesh, should you take Moyes? For me, I don't really care who the manager is. It literally could be like Jose Mourinho, Mark Hughes. I don't care. If we're winning stuff, I don't care who the manager is. I don't care who the owner is. I don't care. I just want to win stuff. That's what it's about.
Those managers still requires you to do the right thing. Just because Moyes has done
no, that's fair. No, I'm not saying. No way I'm saying get Moyes.
Don't mean he's going to but that's what I'm saying. That's who they're going to give us because they're not going to get Ancelotti. Ancelotti is getting paid more than Arteta. People are saying Arteta, Arsenal spent more than Everton, but they're not taking into consideration. Do you not feel that our boards are taking the money that they're paying Ancelotti into how much we're spending in that summer? They take that into consideration. Everton's been listen, if you see the way Everton, it's just that Everton haven't had any success, but they've been spending, they've been pushing, they've been trying to go for it. And this is why they bought in Ancelotti. Because they're willing to back him, they're going to follow through.
Agreed. But then this the thing now. Again, obviously, we have a man. Again, we chose Arteta. Me personally, I didn't want Arteta. He shouldn't. And as a big club, we should not be looking for managers free a contract. We should be going to clubs and saying, we want your manager.
The money.
I say we buy out Brendan Rodgers' contract. That if I was making that decision at that time, I'll go to Leicester and say, Brendan Rodgers, we want you. We will try and achieve what you want to do. Well, we have a vision. We want you to take us on that vision.
Bro, ask me who was on my list, my top three.
It was on your list.
Enrique, Brendan Rodgers second, and what's the Nagelsmann third. That was my list of managers.
Ask me who was my list.
Who was on your list?
My list. Okay. I had that.
The way Kesh said that, Kesh is like, who's on your list?
My list was evolving. Initially, I wanted Jose Mourinho, when Emery should have got sacked the first time, but these men carried on.
You wanted Jose.
That's what Emery did to us, man. Emery took us to a dark place.
No, there's nothing wrong with Jose. The only thing I don't want,
you don't sell your soul. You don't. The man disrespected.
You do.
The man disrespected our club. He disrespected the fan base. He did worse than Granit Xhaka. He did worse than Granit Xhaka.
Egal, you'd rather.
I agree with you. But if it was a choice of Jose or Arteta, and you're going to back Jose to make sure that he doesn't get toxic, I would take Jose. But the fact that I know you're not going to back him, so I know what's going to happen in the future, I said no, because it's just going to get toxic.
But as I said, at that time, when Emery should have got sacked that first time, but then they kept him on for a bit, I went Jose. But then again, when it got to that stage, my managers was Brendan Rodgers, Poch, Nagelsmann. Those are my top three. Brendan Rodgers, Poch, Nagelsmann. The only again now, we went for Arteta. Every manager, you start somewhere, and especially with the players we had as well. His first 10 games prior to the pandemic, we had a few losses. I think it wasn't even a few losses. I think it was 8 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. If I can remember, we played better football because the thing was Emery didn't have a pattern of play. We actually played good football. We played football down the middle of the park. We obviously Ozil came back into the pitch. We had some very good performances. And one of the things that I always hold against Arteta till now, he had his press conference at the start. This is what I want to implement. High press. I want to do this. I want to do that. And for me, what the key one was high press.
And he went back on it.
He went back on it, and he showed that we could do that. And in those 10 games, because we obviously I like to analyze games a lot and properly. We actually press in a 4-4-2 shape. It was Lacazette and Ozil that would actually press, but in a 4-4-2 shape, and those two would pivot off of each other. We actually did it, and for me, I was like, whoa, this is actually amazing. I remember the Man United game, and I think Pepe when he hit the post.
Yeah,
and that was based off of us
Yeah.
Obviously, now that has totally gone out of the window going forward. And at that time, I said, cool, you know what? Let's give Arteta time. Like my objective for Arteta at that time was, can you improve the squad? It was low, it was bad, but then can you just, even if we came in 8th, I was thinking, even give us 7th, 6th.
What I wanted was, it wasn't so much being in the top 4, because being in the top 4, being in the top 4, you're not really ready. But for me, I wanted to see the consistent level of challenging in games, not challenging for the season, but in games, performing better throughout 90 minutes. That's what I wanted to see. And that is one of my reasons why I didn't expect top 4 this year. I didn't think we improved that much. I felt the teams above us, like the Man City, the Liverpool, the Chelsea, I felt they still would get top 4. But what I want to see is the better football and actually performing better against the bigger clubs, like the way Wolves were when they first came up. Because that's how you build consistency. When you're performing against the bigger clubs in challenging, then you can go on and move up.
But this is where.
Can I address something in the comment section? 1 second. 1 second. Let me just address something.
Yeah.
When somebody's a salesman and they try to sell you something, they talk to you in a patronizing way and they tell you something as if it's absolute facts when it's actually their opinion. So when you say somebody was right all along, what was he right about? His opinion that could have gone 50-50 either way, because when somebody speaks, they only speak when they have something to back them. And he was speaking with no evidence to back him in the first place. Now that things are going the way it seems they're going, it doesn't mean, you know what, I should go and apologize or I should admit that somebody's right. We don't know who's right or who's wrong. The story has not been completed. So until it's completed, then we'll speak.
It doesn't really matter anymore.
I was even going to say, like, he
wanted Jose anyway, so what did I even say?
He was right all along, I guess.
Harry, just give me 1 minute. I'll round up here. Arteta, cool. I feel he implemented a style of football. With me, I've seen 3 different types of football under Arteta. When we started up, obviously that first period, first 10 games, after the lockdown, it was more possession based, and it was, obviously I think it's because we still allowed teams to counter on us, and there was a lot of space at the back. He changed it up now, and then it was a possession base, 5 at the back now, and then actually working our ways into spaces. And
back against Man City when we played them.
100% now. So I said, okay, cool. He's changed it up. We're doing well. Like we're gaining things. So I said, okay, cool. Obviously, won the FA Cup. Obviously, our league position, Europa League, didn't really work out. So at the start of the season now, he signed players, and for me, good players, not average players, good players, and players that would contribute to the squad. Then at the start of this season, he changed up the shape again. We weren't playing. We played the Liverpool match and the Fulham match. We used the same tactics as end of last season. But if you go look at all the other matches, we changed it up, and then that's where the thing was attacking down the wings, and we were crossing balls into the boxes. And we didn't have a target man to cross it into. And I remember that after the Tottenham match, it was like, oh yeah, if you keep crossing the ball into the box, eventually you're gonna obviously not word for word, but it was like if you keep crossing it into the box, eventually someone's gonna get on the end of it.
And that goes back to your point of the Ozil thing, because he's not there anymore. You're trying to rely on something else.
Yeah,
okay, guys. 1 second, guys. I just want to bring Michael in quickly because he tried to come in a couple times and he hasn't been able to say his word. Michael, I know you're Arteta out. Tell us why.
He's a subscribe. Why did we appoint Mikel Arteta in the first place, guys? Why?
Cheap.
We had Ancelotti available, and we chose Mikel Arteta. And Vinay, when we got goes all the way Manchester by his house to go to his house, and we couldn't even settle £5 million to Man City for 2 weeks to get the manager in. What's that about? The club is in now. The whole board needs to go, and Kroenke needs to fuck off out of our club. Until they go, change what? I've had enough.
Yeah.
Beat Leeds, we probably 4-2, and Leeds is gonna bob us, bruv. Leeds is gonna bob us. How's that make any logical sense, brothers? Even your Arteta, we pipe Leeds 4, and we got piped by Southampton FA Cup 4th round, 1-0. And when we pipe Leeds, yeah, Banyan's back, bruv. Willie running around like a headless chicken, that Crash Bandicoot. When he was at Chelsea, he was the player of the season after. Yeah, we piped Chelsea 3-0 at Boxing Day. Yeah, they sacked Lampard. Chelsea was in front of us. Now Chelsea's gonna get top 4. Oh, West Ham! Are you having a laugh? West Ham now. Let's get real. Nearly got gated. Oh, we sell our goalkeeper, Martinez, £20 million. What is the board? What is the owners? What is the manager? We've got a manager with no experience. He's probably the 3rd worst manager in the league, statistically.
Nah, come on, you're pushing it.
I've got a question for you.
One second. Before anyone else goes, I want to, after Michael's done, I want Harry and GoonerExpress to say their points because they haven't spoken in a while.
I'm in the conversation here, but before you wrap up the stream, I've got something that I need to ask for communication. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Mike, Harry or GoonerExpress, where do you want to go?
Yeah,
because we're gonna wrap it up soon. So just closing remarks. If I was to ask you, conclusion, Arteta, Emery was able to get more out of the players that he had with far worse players. What is your conclusion? Is that a false statement in the first place, or do you agree with that statement?
That's true. Emery's a better manager than this guy. Lumberg, in them couple games, got a little tune more than
Michael.
It's embarrassing.
I just need an answer. And then we're moving on to everybody else. Okay? No problem. GoonerExpress. Quick, concise answer.
Yeah, true. Emery again had worse players. A lot of people say that Aubameyang and Lacazette were better under Emery. There's a reason for that. Like everybody's saying, it's their prime. It's a 1 year difference. It's not even a 1 year difference. Like, come on, you're acting like it's 5 years in between the managers. Like, the reason why Aubameyang isn't playing well is because he's had the issues with his mum, whatever. But Lacazette is just a dead footballer. But Emery was still able to get something out of him. Arteta can't. Like, he can't even get 10 goals out of the guy. Aubameyang can't even get 10 goals. It's just rubbish, man. Arteta's improved the defence. No, he hasn't. He's brought in better defenders that are already here in terms of David Luiz, and obviously he brought in Gabriel. And my thing is, why has he been in Saliba, Guendouzi, Martinelli? Because he's been in Martinelli. I'm sorry. I won't be surprised if he don't leave in the summer. 100%. But look, Arteta's a dead manager. We know this. And yeah, I mean, until we can sack him, get a new owner, get a new board and all that stuff, then we're never going to be back to the Premier League title winners.
Yo, guys, the reason why I'm laughing because Harry's hilarious. Yo, Michael's always like this. He comes on every single stream. He's shouting at the top of his lungs.
Arteta made me like this.
Yo, if you guys check out Michael's YouTube channel, he's literally looking at Maya Jama on the TV like, I want a piece of that. That's my guy, Michael, man.
Michael,
Anyways,
what's in the cup? Tell me what's in the cup. I need to know.
Yo, Harry, talk to me.
Listen, man.
What's your conclusion to our hypothesis?
My conclusion that it's really hard to defend the process, because the truth is, like you guys say, we are where we are in the league. We're struggling. I don't want to go on for too long. I agree with what Ad said in terms of explaining the timeline. There's been lots of factors as to why we haven't been able to maintain form. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what to say anymore, because like the truth is, if you're not happy with the manager, your mind is already made up. There's nothing I can say to convince you. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can show to convince you. If I say to you the FA Cup, he won the FA Cup and he proved that he can beat big teams, then the response will be, yeah, but we've lost those big teams this season. If I say to you that since the new year or since Christmas, I think we're 5th in the form table since we've started a 4-3-3, we're looking slightly better. Then you guys will say, why didn't he do it last year? So like, there's nothing I can say, and I'll just get angry. I'll just get angry. So all I would say is that we all want better. We all want to win the league. It's not going to happen. You have to accept that it's not going to happen for a very, very long time because players, teams are in a much better position than us. And the reason why West Ham are above us is the same reason why they're above Liverpool. Sometimes clubs with low expectations, who've got no drama to deal with, will sometimes have a random season. Are West Ham going to be there next year? Very unlikely. Can Everton maintain the form? Maybe they can, only if they invest. So there's lots of comparisons we can make as to why Arteta should be at or why teams are doing better than us. All I would say is the proof is in the pudding. Sack Wenger got worse. Sack Emery, you guys saying it's got worse. Sack Arteta, no guarantee it will get better. It could just get worse. Why not back a manager?
Get relegation back.
No. Fair play.
Second,
back a manager.
Before you go,
back a better manager.
Yeah.
Before you go, GoonerExpress, guys, we're almost at 70 likes. I need you guys to like the video. Harry, GoonerExpress, ads, Kesh. If you guys haven't already done it, just do it on your phone. It takes 2 seconds.
Let me just finish. Why not back the manager? And I know you're saying we've backed the manager, but the truth is, our most important player in that system, Partey, hasn't been available. And I'm not making excuses for him. It's just fact. So why not continue backing the managers when we get back in the first game at the Emirates? If the form's turned around, we're all in there supporting the club rather than just bringing a negative energy, because it certainly doesn't help, and the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, bye, Samuel. Okay, no more rebuttals, guys. Just
sorry.
Kesh is gonna have the last question. Ads is next.
Oh no, yeah. I was gonna say, for me, obviously Emery had a weaker squad and got the most out of them. Just quickly on Harry, I'm gonna be 2 seconds. The only way that obviously, you can't say anything that's gonna make me change my mind. The only person that can change my mind is Arteta. Mm-hmm. And the only way he can do that is getting the most out of these players and them getting results. That's the only way. And that's the thing. No Arsenal fan wants Arsenal to do bad. No Arsenal fan wants Arteta to do bad.
Exactly.
I disagree.
I would say most. That's why I said most.
I want Arteta to sack now.
Yeah, Michael, me and you the same boat, bro. I want Arteta should have been gone in October.
We should have got Rafa Benitez in January. Why we gonna get Rafa Benitez? We can fight for this Europa League. Why we got this clown? We're gonna get knocked out in Benfica.
Wait, hold on.
Second, Michael. Let him finish. Hold
on. Yeah, so that's the thing.
Sorry, my bro.
The only person that can change my mind in all of this, or could have changed my mind in all of this, is Arteta. Even when he got backed by the board, Arteta, and unfortunately, it hasn't. We have not moved forward. We have not, even though teams ahead of us has slipped up, we slip up as well. We're still in this lowly position of 10th. Cool, we're 6 points away from Liverpool and so on, but teams got games in hands, and to be fair, on one of the other podcasts I do, when it was only 10 games played, oh yeah, we got so many games, man. Oh yeah, don't. It's only 4 points, man. It's only 5 points. Now we're 25 games into the season. Oh, it's only 6 points, and then it's gonna be 33 games into the season. Oh, it's only 6 points. We need to take action now and go on, and that's me.
Okay, Kesh, I'm gonna give you the final floor, but before you go, I'm just gonna say one thing. My hypothesis is Emery's team, Arteta's team, to say Emery had a far worse squad is disingenuous, because 26 of those players that are still in the squad were Emery's players. When you have 26 players from the same squad, that is pretty much the whole entire team. So when you can't tell me that Emery's team was far worse. There's only 2 players who Emery did not manage that would say would generally improve his team: Gabriel, Thomas Partey. Besides those 2, you can't really tell me anything else. If you talk about the young players who have improved, you can't tell me Bukayo Saka improving counts as the fact that Arteta has a better squad. You can't tell me that these players signing new contract is under Arteta's name and it's a stick to beat him with. These kind of things are ridiculous. My whole point is, after this whole thing, this whole 2-hour podcast, this is where I'm coming from. It's a myth, and the myth today has been busted. The squads are the squads are more similar than actually people say they are, because of the 26 players, because the only players that have improved us is 2 players. And if you're telling me 2 players make Arteta's squad far superior to Emery's squad, you're more deluded than
Partey.
Anyways, go ahead.
Where's Thomas Partey? Is he partying?
No. Yo, don't worry. My guy, Mike.
Yeah. Yo, where's Thomas Partey? Whenever I told him if you players in the world, where is he?
Yeah,
Yo,
That's
he's
why
been
he-
injured. He's been
Where's the
injured. Red
Banya?
flag. He's
Yeah,
been red
for-
Whose
flag.
fault is that? Arteta's fault. He can't manage. You got to manage.
Partey was injured before he came to Arsenal.
We're gonna be here all night, bro.
Has he
Don't
ever
worry,
been
don't worry.
injured? Has he ever
He was-
been injured at Atletico
he was-
Yo,
Madrid?
Michael.
He was
We'll
injured.
talk about this
He was-
tomorrow, bro. We'll talk
He
about
was
this tomorrow.
injured
inshallah.
before
Right,
he came
tomorrow.
to
I'm gonna
Arsenal.
come back tomorrow on the thing.
Enough said. Enough said.
Tomorrow.
I'll just say something quick about Partey thing. Partey was
Yeah.
injured before he joined Arsenal, and because of the congested season and coming to the Premier League, which is a different ball game, different intensity, he's feeling it. But in terms of the Emery, worse squad than Arteta squad better than Emery's, I don't believe so, because you never had a Saka playing a right wing. Saka was playing wing back for most of the season. You had a Ramsey who would sometimes fill in as a right winger, playing in with the 5 back and whatever, yeah. And you had a Banyan that was firing, which we predominantly played to his strength, and he was our only source of goals. This now you see a team that is trying to play a all-round game, get everyone involved, and yes, it's not clicking. It's not clicking because of the profile of the players, really. All I'm going to say to Arsenal fans is we arguing amongst ourselves all the time, and I don't feel we should be focusing so much on the battle between us. We should be focusing more on how we're going to demand, because let's face it, we can want the manager out, but there's no fans there to apply pressure. They hired him as a long-term solution, so therefore they believe in him. So they're going to give him some time. What are we going to do to make sure our season can be better next season? What are we as fans going to do? I've suggested, and I'm speaking to a few people who's got big accounts, and I'm saying, listen, we need
Sack him immediately. No, that's what we need.
we need to come together and make sure that they hear a voice. And when I say hear a voice, they need to give the right investment. Don't invest in Arteta. Invest in this Arsenal team, because Arsenal's going to be here when Arteta is gone. Am I right or wrong?
We're going to be here when Kroenke's gone, whenever he's gone.
There you go. So,
in 100 years, yeah.
Then his son will take
get
over.
rid of Kroenke and
That's
just
what I'm saying. It'll just be it'll be the family. It'll be the family.
Look, my uncle's coming from Nigeria. Don't worry. My uncle's coming from Nigeria to buy the
It's gonna be like Adam's family, Josh Kroenke and the Kroenke. Get them
I
out.
swear to God, yeah. You see if that happens, yeah. If that happens, we're back.
My uncle's coming with money. Don't worry.
Yes, baby.
My uncle.
Bro,
Dangote is coming. Don't worry.
You see when
He said first thing is second Arteta. That's the.
My question is, yeah. No, my question is, yeah. Do you really think,
so, my brother.
be genuine now, yeah?
This is the man who said he's going to sack Wenger. Let
just
GoonerExpress speak, yeah.
Just be genuine for 1 minute, yeah? Do you actually think Dangote will turn us into what we used to be, a Premier League, Champions League challenger team? Because I don't know. Like, Dangote, has he ever owned a football club? I don't think he has.
No one's owned the football. The Sheiks didn't own Man City.
No, I know. That's fair. But what I'm just saying is like, I'm not saying he won't. No way am I saying don't get him. I'm taking anybody over Kroenke right now. Like, I'm taking Daniel Levy, but that's a bit far maybe. But my point mainly is I don't want to fall in this trap where we get so excited that we get a new owner and we expect him to spend £1 billion in one season. And then he doesn't. That's the thing for me.
You don't need to spend £1 billion in one.
No. But it's like he needs to. For me, like right now, we need a good 200, 300 million summer transfer window. And
you get that, bro.
I hope that's what I'm saying. I hope he does. But my point mainly is I'm not going to get excited until I see it, because we got excited when Kroenke came in. Some of us.
I didn't get excited.
I did. Yeah, some of us did. But look, we got excited.
I don't remember any.
It was oozing up. It was oozing up.
It's everything.
We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up.
The reason why I believe it will change this club. Listen, when the Sheik came into Man City, they bought them for cheap. It was like 500 mil. That's cheap. Yeah. When Arsenal, to get Arsenal, you're looking at billions.
Yeah.
To get Arsenal.
Billion.
Yeah. So
you're
not investing that much money just to run a club. You're not doing that because there's no need. He's getting money. He's what I think his net worth is like 11.5 billion.
Billion. Yeah.
Bruv, he said, listen, it's not about money. I believe I will have Arsenal.
He's actually a fan as well.
Money is not
He's a fan, yeah.
So that means, and one thing I know about Nigerians, when they want something, fam, they will spend the money because they want it.
There's another thing about Nigerians, though, isn't there? The scamming. The 419, the 419.
Hey, don't, in my brother.
Listen.
No,
guys,
genuinely, I hope he comes in and rescues us.
Let's not talk about his ethnicity or anything like that, because at the end of the day, if the man is a fan and he cares about the club, he'll be 100 times better than what we have right now. And you know what? If we have an owner who actually is a fan, who cares about the club, who is willing to spend whatever it takes to improve, we will have a similar situation to Roman Abramovich.
Did he not say he will sack Wenger?
Yeah, he did.
Said that.
That's a man that wants to win. That's a man that wants to win. He said, I will come in, I'll sack, and I'll make sure Arsenal...
He's sacking Arteta as soon as he comes in.
Yo, I need a picture of this guy. How do you spell his name?
For me, the one thing with Dangote, the one thing he needs to, the one thing that I want to see him do, I don't want to see him come in and instantly spend 200 million in a transfer window. The first thing I want to see him do is I want to see him go to the recruitment. I want to see him go to all these different departments that the Cronkies have built up, sack all of them, replace them all with proper, efficient people. Then we move. I don't even think, for me right now, it's not even that we aren't spending enough money. It's that we're spending it on the wrong players. So we need a new recruitment system.
Harry.
That's what I want to see him do.
I want to hear from Harry after this, because he hasn't spoke about DANGOTE. Harry, we get
Harry don't want to dream. Harry don't want to dream. Harry doesn't want to dream. I can see it in his face. Harry's like, I'm
Harry.
Harry, you don't want to get excited. You don't want to get excited.
Harry, you haven't spoken.
Look how dejected I am. Do you know what? This is going to sound really strange. When it comes to owners in that, I really don't care. And this sounds weird. I've seen us spend money over the past years. Granted, not to the levels of Man City and Chelsea, but personally, I don't ever want to become that. Maybe Man City, but I don't want to ever become a Chelsea that are just so like player in. Nah, he ain't good enough. Get rid of him. Because then for all of those great players, you lose out on Kevin De Bruyne's and Sadler's. There's no development. There's no culture. There's no spirit, and I don't like that. I don't like the way you. No, 1 second.
I agree with Harry.
Same. Yeah.
But Egal, there is winning, but there's also losing. Like, okay, they've won a lot, but in the past 3-4 years, since their last league title on Europa League, like there's no guarantee to do it, and you sell your soul for no guarantee. And when you have Man City who can do it to a greater level with a better manager, it's like, what do you do? So
Man City's put the right people. The owners.
Yeah, exactly.
City have built a philosophy.
Wait. Stop. Everyone says you sell your soul. I am not selling my ethics. I'm not losing my faith. I'm literally paying more money. We're already paying the most money to go to season tickets and go to games. I've gone to games where I've had to pay over the odds. I'm a Red member. I don't have the favors that everyone else has. I had to pay a lot of money for shit tickets against West Ham, the last game of the season. Now, you tell me, am I already not selling my soul? Paying all this money, investing so much energy in a team that is losing constantly. I've already sold my soul to shit. I'd rather sell my soul to something that's going to win. And I'm a person who's positive.
No, but Harry's not saying that. What he's trying to say is you can spend the money.
There's no guarantee.
Buy the Mbappes in that, but don't give up.
No guarantee in life.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So just one thing. So I totally get like why we want so much change, but surely what we've learned now is that change doesn't guarantee you anything. And all we need to do is be better prepared for that one season when teams are in that change, like when Leicester won the league. That's like, we could have got top 4 if this year was a little bit different and we overachieved. Like, we have to overachieve. We need everyone else to underachieve for us to make it. Why not keep the faith, back Arteta in one more window, let him sign a few more players, and hope that we get ready in time and capitalize on a league drop-off. Guys, the only way we're ever going to win the league in the next 10 years is if something really bad happens to Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. You have to be aware of that. Chelsea didn't win the league for many years, nor did Liverpool, nor did City. So why do you think that sacking manager is going to give us this success? And if you're basing our success on winning the league, you are going to be forever unhappy, I guarantee you.
Look, Harry, one thing I'll agree with you. Today I actually said to a few of my friends, the only way Arsenal will win the league is like on an anomaly like Leicester. That's the only way. But then this is the thing, well, just with Dangote, I think because he knows Arsenal, he knows the history. I don't think he will just turn into like a shape man. So I think he would still want to bring the youth through all that stuff, the yada yada yada. But then he'll also back the manager that comes in. Yeah, but then obviously Implement says that, bro, I still want Masaka to come through, Emil Smith-Rowe to come through. I still want to see all of that. In terms of me, as I say, I can't back again now. Arteta, even if he wins Europa League final, because that's the only way we're going to get into the Champions League.
We need nothing.
I'm not back. I'm not giving that man money to.
I'm giving him 1 penny sweet, bro.
Honestly,
but that's not fair, though, is it? That's not fair, though, Ans, is it? If he achieves the goal which you want, which is winning the Europa League, for then you to say he shouldn't be back, that's like a biased or that's an unfair judgment, right?
Yeah,
bro. At this point,
hold on. Yeah, it is knowing that he's not right for this club. He's won Europa League. I'm saying, you know what, Arteta, thank you, bro. And I think he got a clause in his contract. You know, I'm sure.
Guys, I'm gonna leave the people wanting more. We're gonna end this now.
Yeah,
go check ads. Go check ads. His Twitter.
Yes.
His name's right there.
What ads have I got you on Twitter?
Kesh, I think you do. You know, but if not, and then
you got Michael T. Go check out Michael T. Actually, it's a little X-rated, so be careful. And then you got T.
I'm checking it. I'm checking it out right now.
You got GoonerExpress.
You got that TV Wonder.
And then you got DJ Harry now. It's TJ. What am I saying? It's DJ Harry. There you go. Anyways, guys, you guys already know what it is. EG the Kid on EG, and you know my name. It's Egal. Check me out on Twitter also. Links are all in the descriptions for everybody else. And yo, guys, if you haven't already subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Go subscribe. Peace. What's going on, everybody? I need you guys to go check out my channel and subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that button, and hit that notification bell while you're at it, ladies and gentlemen. EGTV, you already know. And if you're on your phone, it's even easier. Press that like button for me. And you know what? Subscribe while you're still here. And big up to everybody watching.